entirely on a diet of rock cakes.
Made by you, no doubt.
It's true. High in fibre, low in fat, high in calciates.
Surely it'd be the space equivalent of dwarven battle bread.
He's not a dwarf. He's
equivalent. I said equivalent.
Yeah, but
Yes.
we like to split hairs here.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, we literally live on a ship full of technology specifically designed to genetically split hairs.
I was saying, Mac, are you sure you can afford to split those hairs?
Oh, you
We're
haven't
on a
seen what
ship
my hairs are
called
like.
shit.
My ends are split as far as the eye can see. Hello, guys. Sean and Davis.
Happy New Year,
Good
everyone,
day.
by the way.
Oh yeah, blimey.
Happy New Year.
Unless you're Chinese.
In which case, yes, not yet.
Yep.
Mind you,
Dragons
I'm
coming
sure
up?
there are other calendars in use around the world, but
You see, Dr. Bertram believes that this year is the year of moss.
Yes, Dr. Bertram believes every year is the year of moth.
Wouldn't it be the year of the Snapdragon?
okay, I
But
see what
now
you've
we're
done
into
there.
Qualcomm joke.
Quickly turn that off because I was just watching the crossover episode between Strange New Worlds and Lower Decks again.
Thanks to the crossover episodes between Strange New Worlds and Legacy of Kain.
Wow,
That'd be very interesting.
that would be. I think as another cross-franchise reference, actually, there was one of those discussion videos on YouTube I came across where they pit mostly other science fiction franchises, I suppose, against Warhammer 40k as a who would win. And they've done it, they've done it with Star Wars versus Warhammer 40k, who would win. And of course, it entirely depends on which race in Star Wars, whether it's the Rebellion or the Empire, and which faction in 40k you go up against as well. But the most interesting thing I saw was when they said who would win if they had Star Trek versus Warhammer 40k. And the guy doing it quickly pointed out one of the most feared races at present moment in time, in the Warhammer 40k franchise are the Necrons, purely because they've got the Gauss weaponry, which just basically renders everything in its path down to its base atoms.
That and chronomancy, time travel
Well,
and
either way,
time magic does help.
either way, interrupting your tangent before we go off. The point being, Necron Gauss weaponry versus phasers. What do phasers do? They render things down to their base atoms and atomize them.
Do they?
Yeah. A phaser on kill basically erases you. It doesn't just kill you, it vaporizes you.
You see, the only
I
weapons
have
I remember
one-
doing that are the Romulan disruptors. I've never seen a phaser kill someone despite it's meant to be on kill. I mean, say kill. I mean,
Star Trek
disintegrate.
First Contact. When sorry, yeah, Davis, you go ahead.
I can make the Necrons win with one entry for this.
Yeah.
Trazen, the Infinite,
Well,
has
okay.
now accidentally captured the entire Starfleet space dock because it was bored and it looks shiny under the light. And it's now in his museum.
Davis,
It
you're
was
sounding
a
a bit
quiet
muffled
Sunday
there.
afternoon.
Davis, you're sounding a bit muffled to me. Is he sounding muffled to
I'll
anybody
see what
else?
I can do.
Oh, that's better. Was it just distance to the?
That headset has had some interesting moments, as to say. Hopefully,
Yes.
we won't hear the screeching today.
Just random screeching. Which I don't know if the sound thing cut me off there or what, but we'll see.
You wish I was joking.
No, I
put in
was.
I put in
I
some
fixed that bit.
stuff for a cross-reference thing that we mentioned earlier.
Lieutenant Kane reporting for duty.
Oh God!
Good lord, he'd be He'd be difficult to
Lieutenant.
see.
Yes.
Well, you got to
Lieutenant
start
Caber.
somewhere.
So why everyone freezes for a moment so he can eternally monologue. These humans and their love of command, they would never see me coming from the lowly rank of lieutenant. Thus I would control the USS Soul Reaver. Sadly, I can't do anything like as good as voice as Simon Templeman.
No one can do that voice except Simon Templeman, so...
It's true.
My point being, there was to quote, as far as the question as to how, if phasers can do that, to quote Captain Picard from Star Trek First Contact when he took the phaser back from Lily, maximum setting. If you'd have fired this, you'd have vaporized me. There you go.
And the reason Starfleet does not use disruptors is they like weapons that they can tune in many different ways rather than one that just guarantees to kill people.
Yep.
Honestly,
I mean-
pretty much with any one of these, who would win out of this franchise and this franchise, the answer, in my opinion, is always whoever the plot needs to win, because that's how fiction works. I kind of never really agreed with the whole, which one would be more powerful. It's like, who's going to win, Goku or Superman? Whoever the plot for that chapter needs.
The junior space marine who was on his training expedition.
The new main character.
Well, yeah, exactly. We're seeing everything from his perspective. He's new to this whole system so that we can introduce new people to the franchise, so it has to be him. The Space Marine, the new Space Marine inductee who doesn't realise yet he's a Psyker. In fact, he's an Alpha Psyker, the first of his kind. And I'm giving Games Workshop too many good ideas here. I'm going to stop before I can patent these.
Yeah, next they'll advance the
say
plot or
that.
something.
Actually, yeah, you're quite right. Actually, you say
They
that.
should
I've
probably
actually,
stop. They should probably stop doing that. It always goes a bit sideways, and then people get mad.
I think actually they've already done that plot. His name's Alpha Primus, but that's another cross-franchise reference that we don't need in this game right now. But we are, in fact, just merely hanging around to wait for just Webby, actually, because Mike has said he's not able to attend tonight, sadly. Webby maybe is going to be like 1:15, 1/2. So we'll give another 5-ish minutes before I run things into the intro sequence.
Personally, if I'm going to support someone with a name like Primus, it better be Optimus Prime. And remove the us from the Prime and onto the Optima.
I was going to say Optimal Prime.
Optimal.
It's like, there, you're okay. Just right.
Actually, since we're on this other cross-franchise reference game, remind me, Gareth. There was an evil version of Optimus Prime made. Can you remember what his name was?
Nemesis Prime?
Thank you. Jeez.
What? With all the random trivia I know about various fictional stuff that I
You should
enjoy,
write a book.
I really wish I had that. Yeah, I really wish I had that sort of memory for actually sort of like useful stuff. Like, I wish I could remember how Salesforce works when I'm working on it in work.
Yeah,
But no, it's like-
that's
Yeah.
standard mundane information, and you and I don't do that kind of stuff.
It's true. Just the other day I was going, I can't remember how to actually initiate email to case threading, but I do remember, sort of like the manipulations and the intentions of every single character from the first 4 Silent Hill games. At the end of the day, which one is more important?
Well, it's like Sherlock Holmes
There's no
said.
choice.
Yeah, exactly. There is no choice. But it's like Sherlock Holmes said. It's the whole attic space hypothesis of a person's brain. You've only got so much space in your attic to store stuff. So you want to make sure you have all the important things in there.
Which of course his spiritual successor Homer Simpson summed up as, every time I learn something new it pushes something I used to know out of my head.
Yeah, exactly. Alrighty. I am going to pause things there so we can shunt ourselves over to our intro vid. So we will see you in a couple of moments, folks, after we play this video. Hello folks, and welcome along to the first Star Trek Navis of 2024. Hooray!
Woohoo.
It's been a good minute, hasn't it?
Been a bit. Happy New Year, everyone who celebrates the New Year at this time of year.
And happy Hogmanay to everyone else.
Diddly day. So, yes, we are without our Chief Science Officer today, and our Captain will be along within the next few minutes, we believe. So, in the meantime, let's have a good old look around. Oh yeah, before we got into anything too serious, since we've got most of the crew here, the last episode we did was kind of a big one, which was the Angstrom operation. That was our first four-parter, and that was, as a result, involved a great many of our crew here on the Navis. So I have gone through pretty much almost all of our supporting character cast here, and given them an upgrade of some sort or other. And one of ours who's been with us since the very beginning, Lieutenant Commander Bravo himself, has gone as far as a supporting character will go. He's been upgraded to maximum. So, I
over Bravo.
Well, yeah, I confess I had a bit of a tear in my eye when I realised that.
He's evolving into Encore.
Oh dear.
Whatever the evolution noise is.
This does mean we might have to actually promote him off ship.
Well, for the moment, he remains Lieutenant Commander and Chief of Security. The only two characters I don't think who have actually had supporting character upgrading is Ensign Jenny Eric and Ensign Fizal, because at the moment they do assist with Dr. Bertram's science experiments, but they haven't actually taken any active part in an episode, strictly speaking, which is what's usually what's required in order for a supporting character to get a bit of a boost. So yeah, if we can find an excuse to bring Ensign Fizal and Ensign Eric along for something, then they'll finally get the boosting that everybody else has gotten.
We can get them a red shirt.
It's a gold shirt these days. But just to check that everybody's okay with the changes I made, I mean, Ensign Lenny, I was going to look for some talents maybe to give him to make his his flight skills almost as good as his mentor, Thazanan, but it would be very difficult to be as good as Thazanan, so the best I managed was to just increase his con to max. So we'll see how much better he does. If I recall, we had Lenny and Kirst in the Samson, and I thought it would be nice for Kirst to have a value. I've come up with something of a value for her, but I'm not sure if anyone else can think of anything better. I gave her the value, a team is stronger than an individual, mostly just as an excuse to give her a point of determination that she can spend to re-roll dice. So I don't know if anybody else, considering what we've currently had Cursed go through in our time on the Navis, that if anyone can think of anything better as a value. I really don't expect anyone to answer, because I had a hard time selecting that one, but if you do think of one, let me know.
Well, if she was in security, I would have suggested something along the lines of, the enemy is my scratching post.
Bit harsh.
I know. I'm only looking at the surface. I'm that shallow.
Values usually are something you have to be able to be challenged, so the only way that would happen would be is if she made friends with a former enemy. So there we go.
Yeah.
I've just justified it.
See, my entire justification was she looks like a cat.
I was going to say feline reflexes, but fair enough.
For a value?
There's always a perfect solution.
Oh dear, we're going for puns, are we?
Get out.
Alright,
mean,
I'm going home.
If you really want me to, I can replace the value with that.
See, I was gonna go with pause for reflection, as she was a
Oh,
scientist.
jeez. Quickly moving on before I let this pun train go any further down the track.
Loves a good tale.
Claught I gave a new value, and there was only one I could think of.
Okay, yeah, that there's no way any of us can come up with anything better than that.
So if anybody wants to take a look
Where
at
is
Claught's
it?
character sheet, and we'll see the second value, that's the one I came up with.
Yes.
To be honest, that was the best I could manage, and I think it's the only one that can be managed, really. So,
I am.
Yeah.
How
so
did
that
you
was-
challenge that?
Well,
Convince
So-
him he's
so-
not Claude? It's like, I'm Claude. No, you're not.
let's see. He's not an ensign anymore. Comms officer Keshen had a talent added, which was nothing major. It was just testing a theory. Bravo Chief of Engineering has had the final talent that they can take added. Which was an interesting one, I thought, because it's collaboration's actually quite interesting. You choose a discipline, and whenever you select this, whenever you use a task using that discipline, in this case engineering, you can spend one momentum as an immediate spend, and someone else who's also doing a check at that time can use that character's score for engineering and one of their focuses. Could be useful, especially because Commander Chief Engineer Bravo has got dark matter safety systems as a focus, so could be useful. Unit Hello I also gave an extra talent, which means that Unit Hello has reached the last talent it can have, which I gave it Did the Reading, because it kind of made sense to me on how it's able to basically absorb information quickly, can spend a momentum to use science on a task instead of the discipline that you would normally use, and you count as having an applicable focus for it. So I thought that would be very useful for Unit Hello to demonstrate its capacity for machine learning and whatnot and being helpful. I finally gave Lachude a talent, Transporter Chief. So finally gave him something he needed. I was trying to think of something to do to improve Stevens, since she's featured in a few. I landed on a focus, and the focus I could think of, the only focus I could think of was holography, given what happened recently with a certain holodeck program that Stevens persuaded most of the senior crew to actually engage in. Okay, I admit it, I thought it was funny.
I noticed that her value is protect the status of the ship and not something that'll be challenged, like don't embarrass my high and bitey sister.
The one I'm most proud of, actually, is Natik, because I was looking through the security talents, applied force is actually kind of scary. You use, in a melee attack, you use your fitness instead of daring. In addition, you add 1 to the stress of your unarmed attacks that you inflict, or 2 challenge dice to the stress you inflict if your fitness is 11 or higher. Natik's fitness is 11.
Ah.
He is a damage machine.
He came in like a wrecking ball.
Yeah. So this really does play into doesn't know own strength trait.
Perfectly timed on the beam there, Navis.
I do like how we're one of the few ships in Starfleet that has a security force with more of them specialise in melee attacks than with phases. I'm waiting for the bit where the Klingons evade with the thing of if we get in close they can't actually fire because they only got range weapons. They invade the Navis and then limp back saying, okay, apparently they only use the phasers for fun. When they're serious, they just beat the crud out of us.
We just
It's
pull up
alright.
alongside and teleport over and start beating him up.
No, we're already working on the research for this. The hologrammatic torpedo. We fire a torpedo at you so we can beat you up at range with fists.
It's like virtual reality. You're punching in the air, and like the hologram version is punching the Klingon.
Safety protocols take up more weight. I cut them out.
What do you mean just for this one? I've seen your rewrite of the safety manual. That's actually the first rule of engineering in your rewrite. Safety protocols always take up too much weight. Cut them out.
That and do not touch the core. I mean it.
I thought rule 1 is we don't talk about the port nacelle. Rule 2, we still do not talk about the port nacelle. Rule 3, see rules 1 and 2.
That's in your rewrite of the
Isn't
command
in the
text.
manual. Isn't in the manual because that's talking about the port nacelle.
Ah, yes, good point.
So the rules about not talking about the port nacelle can exist within a quantum state. So we can both talk and not talk about the port nacelle.
Very zen.
Don't say that too loudly. Someone will write a paper on it.
Oh, quantum substitution of the port nacelle.
I was wondering why Viber's latest addition to the warp core was called Bone Digger Cell.
Well, anyway, I hope at least folks are happy with the changes I made to the supportive characters.
Yep.
Especially the ones who had values that it took me a bit to get. I mean, Claude's one was easy. Lieutenant Bravo, yeah, he can't be improved anymore. Nurse Bravo, I added a value for, and I think it fits. I actually gave Gene Eric, our tactical officer, the talent precision targeting, so if he and Claude team together, they could be quite a lethal pair when it comes to starship weapons, but nevertheless, there we go. Oh, and we actually gave Lieutenant Mono the focus of sensors for a change, so somebody except for Ensign Kirst has now got a focus on sensor operations if their chief science officer ends up on another away team. Claude's fists. I call them lefty and righty. In any case,
one punchy and this one hitty.
Okay. Before we get lost too much further in banter, we have science to do, I do believe. So let's see. So that was never finished. The sound gun was entered. The holographic torpedo. You've been working on that, and you had reached the last of your current avenues of investigation. Hadn't quite resulted in the full package you wanted, so the ones you have left to investigate are electronic warfare, infiltration, and security protocols. That currently, I believe, is the only science experiment now going on, because Bertram's plant and genetic plant modifications stage 2 has been completed. So we've created the template, we've created the radiation plant, so...
He's now been replaced by Hans Bertram.
Who's exactly the same, but I have an evil goatee made out of moss.
No, it's not going to be moss. It's going to be made out of sort of like a poison ivy.
He's an opposite.
That's why he's always irritated. Sorry, Gareth.
Always scratching. As I say, he's an opposite from another universe, but he's not from Fantasyland. It's Bertram. It's a multiversal constant that he's obsessed with moss, not poison ivy.
So, before I ask the question...
No, we know the alternate
Go on.
universe one is fungus.
Before I ask the question of
he's
Gareth,
just a fun guy.
I'm going to ask everybody else if they have any science projects of their own they were thinking of doing.
Not that I can remember anymore.
Okay. We have done a pretty good job of doing some rather interesting tech upgrades to the Navis.
I think I should do one now, just to really upset good old Blackford. You know, it's like experimental technology on your ship. Blah, 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 blah.
If ever there was justification for it. But nonetheless.
I don't think the cloaking device for a shuttle that turns it into Blackford's personal captain's yacht from a distance is actually worth a research task.
Oh, it totally is.
It's less a
No,
cloaking
I think-
device, it's more a... What is that? A holographic disguise?
I think we should look into sort of like, you know, I think let's just all assimilate. Let's all just become one collective mind on an AI sort of like suite.
See, I was
And
thinking
it
more
means-
petty, like some sort of computer virus that changes everything that he writes or every record about him to "I'm a jerk" and just leaves it at that.
It's just Blackfoot's log, stardate, blah blah blah. I'm a jerk, I'm a jerk, I'm a jerk. I'm a jerk, I'm a jerk, I'm a jerk. Oh, I'm a jerk. I'm a jerk, I'm a jerk.
All of a sudden, this has gone straight back into that proposed musical episode that we weren't going to do.
Uh-oh.
Just every log, well, not just everything else, every log everywhere, every written record. Blackfoot, I am jerk.
I am jerk. You don't need pants for the victory dance, 'cause Blackfoot's better than Andrews.
Oh God.
Oh, what have I unleashed? Anyway.
I think I've got my way onto a winner for this one.
Totally, I'm in this. I am Andrews.
I'm actually, my eyes are actually watering now thanks to this little... I mean, Jan, Sean, neither of you guys have had any ideas of tech Nova or Thazanan would like to try out? Because everyone else seems to have had a go. What was that, sorry?
Not at this point, no.
Not at this point, okay.
Matt,
Yo,
can you do me a favour?
depends.
Can you just put a picture of Captain Blackford on the put Blackford's token on the bridge?
I will grab Captain Blackfoot's token. Very well.
Excellent.
Let me
Beam
see.
making.
That would be do. There we are. Visiting Captain Blackford.
Yeah,
Claude
maybe
says
Keza.
boo.
Screenshot much?
I got him. Alright, that's fine. That's all I needed.
Uh-oh.
And he's gone.
And meanwhile in Modular Lab C.
Yes. Meanwhile, in Modular Labs. Oh, did you get rid of the Modular Labs? Actually, that's a good point.
We got rid of him, I think.
Yeah, no one was using them.
Okay. Meanwhile in the compartment that used to contain Modular Lab C.
Meanwhile, in a secret compartment in the nacelle, which we dare not speak its position.
Yeah, that's right. You
So
replaced it
we
with
dare not
advanced
speak its
shields.
name.
You replaced Modular Labs with advanced shields in the end, so there we go. It was a good choice. I mean, the Modular Labs was a good choice at the time, but it ended up you never needed them, and you guys were just too good anyway, so...
Yeah, fair enough.
It hurts to be this talented.
Yes, the only downside to being this good is we get the occasional person who's a bit annoyed because of pure jealousy.
Totally.
I'm not thinking of anyone in particular. We'll use a code name. L Black. No, that's too obvious. Leon B.
White River.
White River. There we go. Anyway, let's get to the hologrammatic torpedoes that Vibers was trying to create. So you've exhausted both holographics and torpedoes, both of which have given you valuable insight and information. But in order to finalize it, you probably need to try another avenue of investigation. So like I said, the ones you've got left to you are electronic warfare, infiltration, and security protocols. Is there an avenue you would like to pursue now?
I'm thinking security protocols, because obviously the hardware works. We've managed to get it to fit. We've had to throw a few bits out, but these holograms aren't that convincing.
I'd have gone for electronic warfare because it's hacking the system, but you're the lead.
Yep, totally your call, but security protocols does allow you to bring on certain people who have knowledge of such things in order to help you.
Yeah, I'll go for security protocols this time.
Okay.
If it's not enough, we'll go for electronic warfare next time.
Reset the counter. Okay, so as ever, Vibers is principal because it's pretty much his idea. You're looking at security protocols, so this is going to be pretty much reason and engineering. But anybody who has got knowledge of security protocols, Thazanan, as well as, where is he? Where's Bravo gone? The chief, the man, has got security protocols as well, so both Fazanan and Bravo could be brought on as assistants. Hell, you could...
Yeah.
Actually, no, it's... Natik has got a very specialised one, Starfleet security procedures, so he's a bit more specialised.
God, Natik, as if you go into specialisations.
So, let's bring Bravo in, so that he's available. That's depending, of course, on whether or not Fazanan wants to get involved, of course.
Well, these things will probably be useful in the Samson as well.
Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, we can fit one under each wing. It might
Oh, that's right.
That's not
We've got
actually a
micro
bad
torpedoes.
tactic. Go on, Ian, sorry.
I'm not saying micro torpedoes full size. You just only got 2.
Ian, what were you saying?
I'm not sure. Can we miniaturize these things? I mean, I would like them in micro torpedoes.
It would probably involve some work on the Samson, I would think, to maybe place one shot, like a one-shot module on maybe the back or the the ventral side of the ship, and therefore the Samson would need a bit of retuning in order to accommodate the extra weight and balance. But you know, it's all possible, I suppose.
Well, it seems like an interesting project, so
Yeah. Alrighty.
I can pitch in.
So, as I have stated before, this is not exactly an extended task. It's similar but doesn't use the same system. All I'm looking for is the number of successes that you accumulate in order to get an idea of how far down the track of pursuing this particular exploration of the subject. So, basically, Bravo... Sean, do you fancy being Bravo?
Yeah, sure.
Cool. It's going to be...
Captain, do you want to assist as well?
Well, does the captain want to jump in? Yeah.
If you want me to.
The captain has got Starfleet protocols rather than security protocols, so that's not exactly the similar thing, but...
Battlefield tactics.
There's that, I suppose, yes. I was thinking more along the lines of, does Andrews have any talents that might be very useful here as well in order to aid things along? Same goes for Vazanan, actually.
I could use the commanding officer one, which yeah. They spend a determination and I just re-roll.
Okay, so
Yeah,
reason
I'll just sit,
and
yeah.
sorry, go on.
I'll just burn my commanding officer ability.
Okay.
And then just burn a determination, so Navis ultimately gets one. And then
This is going to be reason and engineering for all concerned, which isn't Bravo's strong suit, to say the least, but... So Andrews does not get it back, sadly. But, can use that. So, Bravo, never been involved in this kind of thing before, doesn't contribute much, however... Fazanan seems very interested in this, and does contribute some good ideas to the project. Which means we are now down to... Vibers, who... Whoa!
That's all my good luck for the year.
Yeah, I think... Yeah, you've... Did you buy a point of momentum there, or did you use one of your
no,
talents?
it was, it's
I
my
got
determination.
Oh, it was
three
your determination,
from
was
the
that, was it?
captain.
Durr. I pay attention, honestly. Oh, look, we're streaming. Little joke there. Okay, yeah, okay. Sorry, I'm just reloading because my momentum and threat counters have gone. Okay, so 7 successes in all. Whoop! Oof, that was one hell of a good science session. So, security protocols. Yes, security protocols are a good idea because you are essentially trying to infiltrate other people's security protocols, so knowing how to break into them... Well, knowing security protocols is a key step on knowing how to break into security protocols. There is, of course, the issue that the security protocols you're going to be breaking into might not be Starfleet ones. One hopes. Cough, Blackford. Cough. But, overall, a lot of good progress made there. So you've got a pretty good running idea of what kind of hacking programs are going to be necessary to break into a ship's security protocols in order to basically confound it so that the ship that you fire these hologrammatic torpedoes onto will really, really believe that the ship is being boarded. So far, so interesting. You're just over a third of the way through that research there, so you've done a lot of the math, a lot of the idea brainstorming, that kind of thing. The next will come the programming simulations and testing. So yeah, cool, looking good. So, if no one else has got anything else they want to do, Gareth, are you looking to start any more new projects as Bertram, or are you putting that on ice for the moment?
Actually, I do have an idea.
Okay.
So you know how the template-based pants I was split into multiple steps for a bigger project. So yeah, for step 3, I was considering splitting step 3 into 2 different parts. So it'd be beginning part 1 if it's something you accept.
Okay.
Basically, for part 1, do you remember back on that planet with the darkness issue? I took a whole bunch of samples from the terraforming organisms.
Yes.
Yeah.
Silicate-based terraforming organisms, yes.
Yep. And one major part of that was a silicate that was essential to the makeup that had the function of taking oxygen from the atmosphere and then converting it into other gases.
And that was what essentially created the darkness.
Yep. What Bertram would like to do for this part is to try and genetically and biotechnology, or however he does it, see if he can actually change this process so that it therefore basically takes from the atmosphere and converts to a breathable style of oxygen or oxygen-based mix to basically kind of reverse that, so it converts sort of like what would otherwise be a hostile atmosphere into a certain amount of breathability, and also see if he can actually make the silica into a silicic acid, because that's part of the process where plants are based in silicon but accept it as a silicic acid form. The idea being, if you can actually make that substance, then the second part, which would come after this, is basically making a version of template plants that could act as essentially an atmospheric converter for the person, allowing to breathe them basically almost any atmosphere short of a vacuum.
So your equivalent. So as well as creating, basically organ replacement templates out of plants, and now creating radiation treatment out of plants, you are now creating an EVA suit out of plants.
Kind of, yeah.
Interesting. So it'd be a localized kind of release of airborne silicates that would bond with gas molecules around them.
Yeah.
In order to create like a localized field of breathable atmosphere. Interesting. Yeah. As a result, you can approach me with up to five areas of investigation as per usual, and of course the rest of the group can get involved in this if they think they can identify a good avenue of investigation.
I think the two most obvious ones, the first one is going to be biotechnology. And I think the second one, considering the source of where I'm trying to adapt this silica acid from, is probably going to be xenobiology, because this comes from something very alien.
Anybody else got any good ideas?
No.
No? So that's two we've got so far, so at the very least we can come up with one more.
Yeah. Would genetics be one as well?
Technically, you could state that, yes, you are monkeying with the genetics of something, so...
Yep, that's three. I think given what I'm doing, at this point we're just trying to convert the samples, and because they weren't plant-based, they were silicate-based, so botany, I think in this case, won't be a thing.
No.
I don't have it, something like, what would be the kind of like study of different types of gas and stuff like that. I would say mineralogy, but I don't think it's mineralogy.
That's a good point. If you're studying gases, what is that?
Aerostatics.
Aerostatics?
Yeah. And I say that with the authority and confidence of someone who literally just quickly searched on Google, what is the study of gases?
Let me put that down in case I forget later. Ha-he. So it's biotech, xenobiology, genetics, aerostatics.
Yeah.
Okay. Alright. Okay, I've chosen the one I believe to be the correct one, so now it comes down to you basically choosing the one you think you want to start with.
I think I'm going to start with xenobiology.
Alright then.
Given the source of it.
Who wants, or who do you want to help with this? It's got xenobiology.
So does anyone who is not currently occupied have xenobiology other than myself?
Let's see. Ori, what does Ori have? Ori has xenoanthropology, which I'm afraid is not exactly where we want to go. Sorry, Mike. He does have genetics, though, but that's not for this one currently. Although, xenobiology, genetics, you could.
Shall we bring in Jenny with botany again and just cause an even bigger rift? If you use Jenny, you have to use Jean.
Yeah, Jenny's got nothing now in regards to this xenobiology. Not even.
So the doctor just discarded her.
She may be reporting to the councillor a bit more often, if you had one.
It was only ever one-sided from Jenny. The Doctor is always about the plans.
It was only
The
ever
Doctor's-
about the science.
She went for counselling once and she got given the title when the room was empty.
Would Kirst's emergency investigation specialist, because effectively you are trying to make an emergency EVA suit, well, not really an emergency EVA suit, but it could be a potential emergency item.
Now, I'm flip-flopping a bit on this one because her emergency investigation specialist came about from her investigating ship systems when they went Wibble to try and find out why they actually went Wibble, and this is a bit of a stretch.
We can make more of a stretch. As a rock-based life form, technically, Clark would probably have silicates.
He's made of the stuff, so he should know.
As I said, I can make more of a stretch than that.
Well, that would give you an excuse to use his value of I am Claude.
True, but I feel that it needs to be used on something more badass than messing around with alien biomatter.
I think what I'll say is I'll allow Orai's genetics to cross over with xenobiology here because it does make a certain degree of sense. So anybody else with that kind of thing would be good, but unfortunately Nurse Masteress Bravo has got cybernetics, medical diagnostics, virology and emergency medicine, so he's very much a sickbay guy. So it's
He's
pretty
even
much
the
down
sick
to just Bertram and Orai by the looks of it. So, Webby, if you could be Orai for me, please. This is going to be a reason and medicine check, methinks.
I can't click on Ori.
No? Give me a sec.
Nope. Because Ori is private. It's just like, haha, I'm secret. Alright, another changeling.
Might be another
kid on board.
changeling,
I
yes.
see. Get off the changeling ship.
Oh, and a ship. Oh, yes. That's a good point. Let me switch that over. There we are. You should be able to now, I hope.
Reason medicine, you said?
Yes, please. It'll probably be...
But does this involve quantum mechanics?
Yeah. Quantum physics! Is it quantum? Is it quantum?
Not in this particular case, because we're going down the avenue of xenobiology, so...
Technically anything in biology is just
I
applied
know,
chemistry is just applied physics, so therefore quantum physics works.
But I'm kind of approaching it from Bertram's point of view, as it were. So, we're all about that biology here, so... Okay, Ori likes the idea, but isn't focused enough on xenobiology to contribute much at this particular point, it seems.
Okay, I want to use determination to invoke Researchers Foundation.
Yup, as per usual, so that's cool.
Yep. 4 successes.
4 successes. I don't know why Bertram gets any help from anybody, really. He's just like, I got this.
I think the captain always wants at least one other person to be helping, just to report back to her if at any point Bertram says something on the lines of, "They called me mad back at the colony," or pouring something from a test tube into another test tube.
That glows with sinister green light.
Yeah. Well,
underlighting Bertram in a sinister way.
That's what the glowing edible stuff that I created, the glow mirror mycota is for.
Underlighting, I get you.
Yeah. They thought it was just a food source and a light source. They didn't realise it was for dramatic effect.
Alright, not bad. You think you're about a fifth of the way through the logical steps it'll take to investigate this particular avenue. Orai's interested, but at the moment doesn't have enough of a specialty in xenobiology to follow what Bertram's up to. But Bertram himself makes a good couple of steps, so interesting so far. You know, it's kind of silicate life forms, and they've got silicon-based biology. Not something you've come across all that often, but being a xenobiologist, it's not uncommon in the galaxy, so... eats the prototype mushrooms to sit on the bridge glowing. Yes, we have established that Nova kept the initial prototype of the glowing mushrooms, the one that actually turns the person who's eating them, makes them start to glow. So, yes, I believe Nova usually uses it to make sure that she can see when she's in the cat run. And, giggles. Hang on.
Yeah. Sadly, Bertram has yet to acquiesce to her request to spend some time making them glow different colours on command.
Well, you say that, and yet I am going to. Where is it? Chroma. There we go. Wom, wom, wom.
Yeah.
So for the remainder of this episode, Nova will be a light source.
This is why people keep avoiding the moss lectors, because instead they go into the mushroom raves.
Party at Nova's place. She is the party light.
Yeah.
Right then.
Now we can find out about this week's stealth-based mission.
Well, to give us a good old summary of where we're going with this mission, I would like to cast folks' minds back through the entire Tilical saga we've had so far. Starting all the way back with episode 1, where you went to the planet Seku 6, found a small kind of monolith that was apparently some kind of communication system or terraforming system. You're not entirely sure what it was, but yes, that was one of the first things you discovered. Not long after that, of course, which I think was when Edwards joined the crew, was when you also found your way to the Bacchus system and actually managed to enter into the Bacchus monoliths, gaining entrance to the what was believed to be, what is now believed to be the Tilical monoliths on Bacchus, that also allowed Nova to swipe the computer core from the place as it was disintegrating around you.
And,
also, yes,
Edwards to take an arm.
Edwards to take an arm. Yes, but also, as well as being able to get a glimpse of how the Tilical would craft monoliths from moons, there was also a star chart that was a snapshot was taken of, where numerous points within the expanse and the Shackleton Expanse and slightly beyond were all highlighted, which was subsequently used by somebody who not long afterwards made your acquaintance, Admiral Stoker. So yes, after the incident on Bacchus, we came across the 2 M-class planets that were, which basically orbited around each other, which was unusual. Was that now evidence of Tilical world engineering? We don't know, but what we do know is that the civilizations, or one of the technological civilization on that planet, had based their technology on the Tilical monolith they had found there. Unfortunately, they tried uplifting a neighboring species who was not ready for the technological leap ahead that they were given, and it all ended in tragedy. There was the return to Beta Niobe, where you guys, on Stoker's orders, investigated the old home of the Sarpedons, and Stoker, with warnings from you guys about what she was doing, activated the Atavacron arch, which opened a rift into the antimatter alternative universe. But you guys managed to get out of that. There was also the planet where technology didn't work, and the monoliths were dealing out radiation poisoning. There was
like
also
what Nova's got at this moment in time.
I will have you know that Nova is emitting a healthy glow.
It looks like a chroma to me.
Any sound of wom, wom, wom is probably actually Nova herself making those exact sounds.
So that's where the port nacelle went. Nova is the port nacelle.
You've done one with it.
Secret is discovered.
What happened after that? Oh yes, there was that planet with the kind of like living technology that Stoker found herself trapped in. There was the Tillical station on the very, very edge of the solar system that you guys got accidentally teleported to.
Galaxy.
Yes, that's a good point. Sorry, my mistake.
The solar system's not that far away in the galactic terms.
Thank you. Sorry, this is what I get for trying to speak and read at the same time. I'm a monotask.
We should probably go and see
servitor.
Stoker, shouldn't we, when she's in her loony bin?
In the loony bin, yeah.
Yeah.
Assuming, of course, she's still there. And she hasn't been kidnapped by the people that she said that were after her.
That's fine. No skin off the Federation's nose.
What happened next?
We respect Admiral Stoker.
You were... There was an alien array? Oh, yes. Was that when you lost Lieutenant Turin to that portal that drew everything into it? What happened?
Yeah, but she was new. It was fine.
She's probably fine. She had an EVA suit on and everything.
Yeah, she was like she wasn't part of the crew fully yet. We hadn't integrated her fully, so.
And we have a quota for losing people. So
Yeah,
that's why.
we're allowed to lose so many people a year, so you know.
Let me see.
The
Was
Tude
there
is looking
anything else?
behind the sofa. It might be in the buffer somewhere.
He just suddenly pulls her out, like, here's Lieutenant Turin now, she's been behind the sofa the entire time! Surprise!
Well, we lost a captain in the buffers for a bit, so
Yes,
Yeah.
you never
good
know.
point. There was that science team investigating an abandoned alien station that was causing a nearby star to eject stellar matter. What else did we have?
Those were the good old days, where it was just simple, you know.
Oh yeah, and there was also the civilian science vessel that went missing. And the crew discovered a pre-warp civilization on a planet that's about to be destroyed. The civilians wanted to evacuate the natives to a nearby planet, but this was a decision that defied the Prime Directive, so that was a bit of a
Yeah.
situation. Anything else? Oh yes, the archaeological colony that needed evacuating as the nearby star was going supernova sooner than expected. And the entire star system was drawn into another dimension. Then, of course, there was
plenty of resources for Lieutenant Turin to survive on.
Just poured the entire star system through so she can have lunch.
So yeah, there was the civilian scientists had crash landed on a planet with natives. They didn't think that it was, since they were civilians, the Prime Directive didn't apply to them, so they could try. That was it. They wanted your help in getting Starfleet's help in evacuating the natives to the nearby planet, which was inhabited, but they chose remote places to put these people. So it was going to be a long evacuation job. That was it. And the last one you did was when you were asked by Dr. Taliaferro, the head of civilian science on Narendra Station, to investigate the Candidate 3 system, because there was something odd going on over there, and it turns out the Romulans were very interested in what was going on in the Candidate 3 system. As a result, you beat the Klingons, you met somebody or something calling itself Assessor Tredic, which was some kind of telepathic life form that
told us to go away.
It basically said you're not ready. Yes, that was the one that said you're not ready yet. And Assessor Tredic basically teleported the ship and everybody on it back to Narendra Station, if I recall. Yes. So that's been the Telikal saga for the most part so far. And I bring all of this up because this episode now is... I know we've taken a while to get there, sorry about that, but this episode takes place 4 days after the whole business with the neural parasites that you've just finished. So this is 4 days later, and something like a war council is being called for on Narendra Station. All the crews of the starships who birthed themselves at Narendra Station have been asked to proceed to the auditorium. That includes the Klingon crew, because General... Ooh, I've forgotten his name. I had it until just now. Admiral Hebert and General Kargan, that's it, will be hosting a joint mission brief. So...
Can I wave at Blackfoot when we get there? Like a
absolutely,
really
you can wave at Blackfoot. So
I draw my thumb across my throat when I see Blackfoot.
Do it slowly with a very, very nasty look in your eyes.
It's like the virus is still an option.
Just takes about 20 minutes to move his thumb across his throat. It's that slow and methodical, just like, I will wait.
Bertram, look around and make notes where the best place for some nice aromatic plants around that would be simultaneously pleasant and relaxing to multiple species. Best place so that he can send a suggestion letter to Admiral Hebert later.
Hub.
He's just completely ignoring everything that's going on.
I need to change a few people around. Go. So we got all right now. We don't have what's he? Nova, as always, is partnered with her Klingon buddies.
I thought
just imagining
Natala's on the station, though, isn't she? She is still.
Natala's still around, technically, yes, but for this, she doesn't count as a member of the Navis crew at the moment, and therefore takes a back seat. Because it's specifically the starship crews that are being called upon here.
You know, can I just say, it was somewhat, I can't believe Blackfoot had the gall for saying that we were unconventional and dangerous, and he's cloning Jenny Eric for his science officers.
And Gene Eric as his tactical. Oh no, Gene Eric's on the other shit. Yeah, Gene.
I mean, they just have that face that makes them look like everyone else, really, doesn't it?
Stop it.
They're very...
I only have so much budget, alright? Paramount won't leave me this much... Paramount won't give me that much budget for extras, okay? It's the same guys pasted in.
Kind of like facial features and body types. It's almost uncanny.
Oh, he's just got an entire starship full of automatons.
I think we should send Bravo, 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 Bravo over there and say, oh, multiple crew members look the same. How original.
Was that too many Bravos then?
No, he said exactly 5 Bravos. I counted.
He's just cheering the idea.
Yes.
Okay.
It's also their side hustle. It's the most repetitively named law firm in Starfleet.
Bravo, Bravo.
Bravo, Bravo, and Bravo.
And sons.
And daughters.
But I'm not your son. You are for this extent. It's going to be a very long night, isn't it?
It's already been a long night, so why don't we just add to it as well? Okay. So, rather than the last time when everyone was called together, which was the aforementioned scientific briefing given by Dr. Taliaferro, everybody else, this definitely is something along a more war footing kind of job. So everybody basically got communication saying that Admiral Hebert and General Kargan are conducting essentially a war council and have asked for senior staffs from all vessels to attend. And so, with everybody basically takes their seats, Captain Akul and his lot, of course, are very happy to have Nova sat amongst them, swapping stories. Corbett and his lot.
We did give him a quick little nudge of please don't give her a Raktajino.
I don't think she needs it now she's been on the glow-in-the-dark mushrooms. And of course, Blackford and his lot sit as far away from everybody else as they can. Nevertheless, Hebert and Kargan call for attention. The lights semi-dim in order to bring more attention to the Admiral and the General. And that's when General Kargan himself steps forward, wielding a Klingon pad like a blade. Our deep space intelligence assets believe they recorded traces of cloaked Romulan warbirds crossing the neutral zone and entering the outer edges of our sector. We believe they are moving toward the Candidate 3 system to lay claim to the technological treasures gathered there. In discussion with the Admiral, we have decided to send all 3 Federation ships to secure and defend the Candidate 3 system for our purposes, and to deny it to the enemy. Captain Akul and his vessel will remain on point here at Narendra Station in case the Romulans foolishly attempt to attack us while you are away. Just noticed Luchude, thank you.
I'm just going to lean across to Corbett and be like, bollocks.
Corbett just kind of leans over and pats and Andrews affectionately on the arm. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Admiral Hebert herself, who should have all of her determination, steps forward and says, Captain Akul, of course, will be briefed in full by General Kargan. So as for the rest, I require a conference with the other 3 captains, please. So she kind of steps to one side as Kargan goes off to start chatting with Akul and the others. Nova, from her vantage point amongst Captain Akul's crew, as soon as they discover that they're there to remain here, they kind of all give that Klingon kind of, why are we staying back kind of job. But Captain Akul and his first officer Krax do see the logic in it, in that the Romulans are sneaky enough that if they're making a big show over here, then they might be trying to deliberately draw your attention away from where they're actually going. So having the Mapui on standby on Narendra Station, just so you don't empty the entire complement of ships that Narendra Station has at its disposal, is probably a wise choice. So they eventually kind of calm down and come around to that. Meanwhile, Blackford and Corbett and Andrews all get together. We're close to the Admiral, who calls everyone together. Actually, what am I doing? Blackford stands well apart from everybody else. So Hebert getting together with the 3 captains, the 3 Starfleet captains specifically. So, since we have a joint operation with 3 ships, all on the same mission, it comes to mind that we have to appoint one of the 3 captains to carry the flag as the Commodore, in order to be in charge of an operational charge, at least temporarily, of all 3 ships. Blackford then steps forward, with his hands behind his back, his chin in the air. Admiral Hebert just looks at him. Captain, you're sharing my personal space a little more than you usually do. At which point, Blackfoot just deflates a bit, looks around at Corbett, at Andrews, at the Admiral, and just goes, "I'm sorry, is there going to be an actual debate about this?" There's actually going to be a debate about this. Oh, good lord. Okay, seriously, we're gonna debate about who's gonna be the best person to lead this mission. Really? When the choice is one of Starfleet's star captains, somebody who's been around too long, and the amnesiac.
I didn't know you'd lost your memory, Blackford.
Yeah, I just kind of like, Andrews is just going to turn his Corbett and sort of like say, which one are you? Are you senile, or are you too old?
Corbett kind of leans in conspiratorially to Andrews and goes, "Well, he has called me senile before, so it wouldn't be the first time." Blackfoot then just turns to the... Sorry, go on, Webby.
My vote is for Captain Corbett, Admiral.
And Corbett likewise goes, "Well, I was going to say that since this is actually a combat operation, that it would make a little bit more sense for the actual combat-made ship to lead the charge, but okay." At which point Blackfoot, to the surprise of no one, interjects, Wait. The ship that could fall apart at any moment, if not outright explode, if the captain forgets why she's actually there. And, all due acknowledgement to Corbett and his long service, he's basically flying a hotel in space, whereas the Bellerophon is one of the most up-to-date, top-of-the-line ships, with an enhanced responsiveness to communications and networking and sensor operations. We would be the actual logical choice to be the primary ship, since we can coordinate faster. I actually should have mentioned that the first officers should be here as well. Pardon me. So, Blackfoot's Commander Tonak and Commander Rozek of their respective ships are there.
Vibers!
So Ori just kind of leans over and nudges Vibers. I think she's talking to you, man.
I didn't do nothing.
I don't think that's why she's asking for you.
Yes, Captain.
Making the captain look bad.
No, it's fine. Captain Andrews doesn't need my backing.
No, I can't make snarky comments about Watford from right over here. You'll hear me.
You're writing something to mention to him, and now you've taken him away.
So what you're saying is, Vibers needs now to spend one of his minor milestones that he has cached in order to change one of his focuses to ventriloquism.
Give me a minute. I've got a few of these.
Okay. So, Commander Tonak, which is Blackfoot's first officer, does speak up. It would make logical sense. The Bellerophon is a top-of-the-line ship, and therefore its responsiveness to sensor stimulus would be the most rapid of the three ships. Blackfoot then just turns around to his first officer and goes, "Yeah."
At the same time, Commander, a ship with the most penetrable sensors is more than likely best to be served on the flank, because therefore it can be observing the entire battlefield. A Galaxy-class starship is one of the most powerful ships within the fleet. Although you're saying it's a flying hotel, why is the Enterprise a Galaxy and not an Intrepid?
I think you'll find, Andrews, which, we can forgive you because you forget things, that the Enterprise isn't a Galaxy-class anymore.
Was a Galaxy class.
Oh, was, isn't now. That should tell you everything that you need to know.
Yeah, at least it actually survived being shot out of the sky with no shields. I wonder how an Intrepid would do against two Cavort class cruisers with no shields. Just hypothetically.
Blackfoot kind of then worryingly glances over at Captain Akul. Are you suggesting? At which point Hebert just steps forward and goes, okay. This mission is actually time sensitive, so we need to get a decision done here. Andrews, you are supporting Corbett as Commodore, yes?
That's correct, Admiral.
Corbett, you are supporting Andrews as Commodore. Yeah, sure. Blackford, you are supporting yourself to the surprise of no one. At which point Commander Rozek is kind of timidly putting his hand up, waiting for somebody to notice that he's doing it. I hasten to note that a Galaxy-class vessel is specifically designed to be a command vessel of a fleet, and therefore has communications and sensor broadcasting systems, especially to be a lead ship in a fleet.
Yes, Captain, we definitely can't have the Navis doing this role. We'd have to unload some torpedoes.
I'm fully aware, Commander, hence why I was backing Captain Corbett for this.
Commander Tonak at this point speaks up and says, actually, that is logical. The Galaxy class does contain all the various sensor and communication suites necessary to be a command ship. At which point Blackford rounds on him and goes, Tonak, shut up. I was merely stating, Captain, the facts as they present themselves. I'm not helping, Tonak. Shut up.
Andrews is just going to glance over at Vibers and sort of like, wow, a fake Romulan has earned points.
Captain, I cannot lie when the facts present themselves.
You.
I'm not saying it, that's just kind of like the look of sort of to say,
It'd be like,
you know, my opinion of him has improved.
He kind of does whisper to... You do hear him whisper to Captain Blackford, I'm a Vulcan, sir. I cannot tell a lie. No, but you can shut up, says Blackford. In that case, says Admiral Hebert. Sorry, go on, Webber, you were going to say something?
No, I was just going to say, I think that is settled then, Admiral, but yeah, you...
I would agree. That seems settled. The Venture, being the Galaxy class and therefore outfitted to the best for, being a command ship, wins the Commodore ship. Congratulations, Commodore Corbett. Corbett just nods, shrugs, and goes, thanks, I suppose. I guess that means that I get the Commodore's hat. And he looks over at Blackford, which was all I really wanted. The hat.
Careful, you might forget it in your old age, Commodore.
Well, that's why I need the hat, to remember that I'm Commodore. It has to be big enough that I can see it when I wear it, you know, in case I forget it's there. Blackford is just
really
there.
Wants this hat to exist.
Blackford is now there, just seething visibly, but not saying anything.
I tap out a message to Richard and Bravo saying we need to get a large Commodore's hat delivered to the Galaxy before they set off.
Very well then. Commodore,
If you can get
the ship's
boy's hat delivered to Blackford.
I like
This is
it.
not out loud.
No.
Not out loud.
No.
We
this is
delivered a
pointless.
midshipman's what?
It broke up then, so I just heard of
Midshipman's what? No,
Yep.
midshipman's watch. I'm guessing it was
We're going
watch.
to drop off a midshipman's watch to
Watch.
Blackford as
Yep.
a parting gift.
Although,
This
that
is
is
the watch for
massively low
keeping-
blow. Yeah.
I'd thought of a better one. Captain's
But
hat.
it's still an old relic carved with his name on it and his ship as a gift
I have
to
something
bury the
slightly better.
hatchet.
What was that?
In the same thing, I've got a better idea. I've got a slightly improved idea. In the same vein, Captain's hat to a tonic.
Captain's hat to
No.
Tonak.
No, it's too far.
Okay.
As much as I want to, I have to maintain neutrality, you know.
I just imagine now, Andrews is just there, just that tight lip you do when you're trying to suppress a smile. You go, no, must remain professional, must remain professional. So, Admiral Hubert states, very well, Commodore Corbett. Organize it amongst yourselves, but you are to depart within the hour as quickly as possible, please. And she then goes back to her assistant. And Blackford just turns to everyone and goes, well, all right then, I suppose I will get the Bellerophon ready for launch. It's always in a state of readiness as is anyway, so I'll be more than likely waiting on the two of you. So, I'll be on the Bellerophon if you need me.
Oh, I'm so going to turn around now and just sort of like say to Vivers and say, we are going to beat the Bellerophon out if it is the last thing I do. Val, get the engines warped.
Corbett does turn around at this and go, unfortunately, I would very much, with Romulans on the cards, very much prefer it if all three vessels arrived at the same time. I know, technically, both the Bellerophon and the Navis could outrun the Venture. So
I just want to get out of the starbase first.
Oh, I see. Well, I don't know, maybe I could accidentally have my navigational officer put the Venture in the way of the Bellerophon, because, we're a big ship, we need a lot of room.
Just absolutely rub it in.
But, seriously, as soon as we get underway, we are going to need to maintain Warp 9, because that's the most the Venture is going to be able to safely achieve.
Warp 9?
I know. But I really want to make sure that we all arrive together at the same time, just to make absolutely sure we're all safe. I suppose, in a way, the hat of blame now, or the hat of responsibility now lies firmly on me to keep Blackford in line, but it's fine. I've dealt with officers like him before. I'm sure when the need arises, he'll be fine. Sorry, I talked over you there, Webby.
Any support I can offer, Commodore?
Well, you'll be giving it by just being there, Andrews. But at the end of the day, I trust Blackford to act like a Starfleet officer when the need arises, so we'll just have to make sure that faith isn't misplaced. Nonetheless, get your crew ready to beat the Bellerophon out of the docking area within the 45 minutes, if you can. The Venture will take a little bit longer for myself, so I'll make sure that we're ready within the hour, but I want us all to set off at the exact same time so that we arrive at the exact same moment, which means that we will need to coordinate our helm officers, including the one on the Bellerophon, so we'll also need to set up a secure communications channel between all three of us, just to make sure that the Romulans aren't going to be able to hack into it that easily. I understand that you have your own encryption system for the main computer of the Navis?
Yes, that is correct, Commodore.
Is there any chance we could use some of that maybe to encrypt our transmissions, do you think?
We'll have a solution ready for you when we come out of warp. It'll take a little bit of time, and I will need access to the chief medical officers of both of the other ships.
It should be
in order to
workable.
put that in place.
That should be workable. Medical officers? So it is true what they said. You guys actually did make it based on your DNA or some such.
We have come up with a bio encryption system because we confirmed that would be something that would be very hard for some people to fake.
Indeed. I'm intrigued. I look forward to you sharing your tricks with us. Rozek, how do you feel about implementing new security protocols? Rozek at this point speaks up. Hey, I'm always good for learning new things. If I don't like to speak ill of the Venture, but she is a Galaxy class, and it's not as she's not as advanced as some of these newer ships. So we do have a bit of bit of ship envy going on sometimes. I mean,
On the topic of ship envy, is there any chance I can introduce our helms officer to your flight control officer?
sure, my flight control officer would be more than happy.
Because we have currently one fighter aboard our vessel
Oh, of course,
in active
yes.
service, and you have quite a few more, I believe, if you're utilizing your hangars in a war footing.
Unfortunately, we weren't able to procure fighter class craft. All we've got is shuttlecraft at the moment on the Venture. We don't, unfortunately, we weren't gifted that. Starfleet is having,
Supply issues, I know.
yeah. Don't
I
spread
heard
that
they're
around if you can.
I've heard they're even starting to bring some of the old the old Centaur classes and Curry classes are starting to get revived from mothballs.
Between you and me, not all of those rumors are completely true, but they're not far from the actual truth. I still have a good many friends in Utopia Planitia, and yeah, the demand for new ships is outstripping the ability to actually produce them, so... Anyway, that's a topic for another time, and we need to get underway. Thank you, Commander, Captain. We will see you out there.
And you, Commander, Commodore.
Commodore Corbett. It's got a nice ring to it, actually. They kind of walk off and rejoin their crews. Alright, so... back to the bridge of the Navis. So, essentially, we are on the bridge. So, the crew have been busy getting everything ready, and so I suppose the best way of getting a bit of quick momentum and B, seeing whether or not you can actually beat the Bellerophon crew to readiness status would be for a presence and command check from both the captain and the first officer. See how well you can convince your crew to get underway. Will of signal for the rest of the bridge crew to start emergency launch protocols. Okay.
Yeah, that was one we were discussing, so...
Okay.
2 dice. No, 2 dice with foci?
Probably, yes
Starfleet
indeed.
protocols.
There you go. I'm helping.
You
Helping!
really are. 4 successes in total, which means that you definitely managed to coax some... you managed to encourage everybody to get underway, basically by saying, we need to beat Blackford. At which point, everybody pretty much jumps to station and goes, oh, right then, it's on! So, folks race about to get things underway as quickly as they can, because nobody wants to... nobody likes Blackford, apparently.
Did he have a head start on us as well, and we still beat him?
Yeah, but 4 successes, and a little help from the Venture.
Well, also the one of... It's amazing what you can do when you leave a very nice bottle of Romulan ale on flight controls. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, coordinating with the... Actually, before I do that, all 3 ships do make it out of dock, but of course the Navis is first. The Bellerophon tries to, but unfortunately the Venture chose that exact moment to start pulling out of its own docking bay. What a shame. And
Of course, the Commodore takes precedence.
Also, the Bellerophon's actually last out.
Indeed. So the Navis comes out first and assumes station. Then the of course the Venture
what was
comes
the
out
difficulty roll that we needed, by the way, to exit the dock at warp?
next. Yeah.
As we were discussing in the channel.
That's gonna be a 5, I think, to manage that without catastrophic damage.
Kamal's got this, right? Yeah.
Kamal's got this, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, Kamal
Can we
can slow
not blow up a cool ship in our exit? I don't care that much about the Bellerophon sitting behind us, but a cool's a nice person, and we might need him later.
Yeah, Cool's just on patrol outside. He just sees this white flash come out the doorway.
Maybe next time.
Maybe next. Because in this instance, at the very least, Corbett wants all 3 ships to depart at the same time. So, as amusing as it would be to see if you could pull it off, which I'm sure you could, but Jeepers Cripes, the amount of reprimands you will get from that if you do. Good God,
Come out
you
of back
imagine?
somehow.
I mean,
Hey, Kirk came out of a flipping starbase at Impulse, so
Yeah, yeah.
we could.
so
So you
records
should
are made
have
to be
boosted
broken.
Blackford's ship.
Records are made to be broken, but
Yeah, no one's done it since Kirk. You know, so someone's got to try.
I'm pretty sure we already have already. We've done this once already.
not
We
at
came out
warp.
We came out at full thrusters. We may have done an Impulse run. Yeah.
I think you've done
Thinking about
Impulse
it.
before.
Yeah, we did, because we've had this before come up, this exact conversation. Or more or
So
less about...
you have pulled the
Hmm.
Kirk, yes, and I don't mean
Yeah.
seducing alien women. I mean pulling out of
Well.
dock at but pulling out of dock at impulse speeds. But the next one, at least if you do come out of dock at warp, at least make sure the doors are open first, for goodness sake. But
Nah, they need to rush to open the doors as
Oh,
the
yeah.
engine's charge.
I was going to say we need to use the phasers for something.
Just blow the document doors off as we're coming out. Just Michael Caine on flight control, like, you're only supposed to blow the bloody doors off.
all right. So all 3 ships eventually manage to come out of space dock and organize themselves so they all leave at the same kind of time. As such, into warp we go. So as it's already been stated, because the Galaxy-class ship, the Venture, can achieve a maximum safe maximum persistent speed of warp 9, compared to what both the Bellerophon and the Navis can do, basically the Navis and the Bellerophon are having to throttle back their speeds in order to make sure that everybody arrives in the Candidate 3 system at the same time. So, as you are proceeding along, let's see, the amount of time it would take, I think was about 3 hours or so, maybe a bit more, to get from Narendra Station to the Candidate 3 system. In the meantime, you were talking about sharing information between the ships in order to create this communication encryption method, which is fine because you've already proven it can be done. It's just now a case of sharing that data with the other 2 ships, which is easily done. So, probe telemetry from the Candidate 3 system indicates that a variety of strong gravimetric and tetronic disturbances are now taking place within the system, as well as repeated pulses of some kind of strange energy that's similar to the energy signature of that burst that happened from the planet just before the Navis and the Romulans were transported away from the planet back to their respective home bases. So it seems something unusual and unstable is currently occurring within the system. With that in mind, as well as the fact that Romulans are expected, are there any preparations you would like to make ahead of time, or a bit of conversation you might want with the other captains, or what would you like to do, if anything?
Well, I think we tune the sound gun to Romulan.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I'll say potentially also the onboard ship-to-ship version as well, just in case. Or would you prefer going straight in with torpedoes, Captain?
Well, we don't know what we're actually going to expect, so I think we have weapons ready.
So everything that's along the sound nature is set to Romulan, so you have both options then.
Okay, that should be no problem.
Captain,
The
would you
other
leave?
one-
I will prepare sick bay in case either combat or environmental issues from the disturbances start causing injuries to try and minimise their impact.
Good thinking.
Would it be worthwhile as a group as well attempting to set up either going as an attack pattern or have it so as a recon pattern, so that we can be sensor pinging off of each other and triangulating locations?
What do the rest of you think?
I'm trying.
I'm a doctor.
I'm trying to think.
Not a tactical expert.
I'm trying to think. There is a way of diffusing or at least stopping a cloak, isn't there? I'm just can't remember off the top of my head what it is again.
Well,
Roping-
it's Tetrion radiation, but
Or-
bearing in mind is that's mainly Klingon, because the Romulans are a lot more sophisticated at hiding
Yeah.
There's another way of doing it, which was throw big piles of stuff out there and the bits that move.
Well,
Yeah,
there's also
very
we can also launch the Samson to just provide additional coverage.
Yep.
I was thinking, I couldn't remember specifically how to do it. My main thing was have a probe preset to go out and basically explode, releasing XYZ material that will diffuse a cloaking field. But that's what the initial thinking was suggesting it, because I legitimately can't remember what it is.
I say Tetrion radiation will disrupt.
Then load up a probe to basically explode, releasing a lot of Tetrions. If it's possible to hook up, it's something they wouldn't expect. We just send them out ahead of the ship.
The only issue we've got is we don't know what's going on fully inside the system itself. So discharging Tetrion radiation into the system before we get there could have a
Detrimental effect.
Yeah. I don't think it will, but there's that risk.
All right.
One other thing before we do arrive is we're going to set up the security net between the three ships. And what I'd like to do with Bertram's help is set these up so it's set up for encrypted using every outbound thing is encrypted using something based off your captain and first officer's DNA sequences and everything, and you can only read the stuff but it's encrypted, so only the people who have been sent to can read it, and you know who it came from.
So there's almost like headers. Headers
Yeah,
on the.
I could go into the whole
stamp.
public-private key stuff, but that's starting to go into work territory, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah. So you're basically putting headers on the packets being sent to say that this was made by whom and obeying this encryption method.
Yes, and on the other side, they have the details to decrypt it. But
Cool
we
beans.
can't decrypt something that was aimed at the Bellerophon, and they can't decrypt something that was aimed at us.
Yeah. And if it was aimed at all, then everybody has to...
Yeah.
Groovy. Good. So the time it takes to get to the Candidate 3 system will be plenty of time for you to implement these encryption protocols, especially because everybody needed for said encryptions are already present within the fleet. So, anything else before we land in the Candidate 3 system? Alright.
I think yellow alert as a minimum.
All departments, sound off.
I actually did make a list of departments recently, just to make sure that others were split up. But if you're going to yellow alert, then we'll take that off. Obviously, the Samson can't be launched yet because Warp 9 is well beyond what a small attack craft is capable of achieving. Therefore, it'll have to wait until we get into the
I
system
think
to
that
deploy.
Cabal can get the Samson up to warp 9. Cabal in the front, Nova in the back, flipping warp 9.99.
Well, I'm
in
sure
the
they
wake.
could.
just glowing white hot.
I'm sure they could. I mean, they won't be able to do it for very long,
Just
but I'm
one
sure
look
they
at
could.
The Bellerophon.
Yeah, just long enough to fill in the just launch at the last second of warp and it just shoots out fast.
Alright, so let's come out of warp as we enter into the Candidate 3 system as we remember it. And let me turn things over to the right ambience, because this system is currently rife with weird anomalies. I just need to turn things up just a smidgeroo for all of this. So you come out of warp near the system, and your all three ships immediately have their alert klaxons start to sound as you drop out of warp. You start to feel a very definite rumble in the superstructure of the ship, and I'm going to ask everybody to give me the Star Trek shake. As I
Totally shaking.
as somebody Star Trek shook so much they left Foundry. As I roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, so luckily for the Navis, the resistance is 7, so that's that, which means one breach goes on there. And unfortunately for the Bellerophon, it's 3. 1, 2, and let's go with that. So, thankfully, the Navis is reinforced enough that there's a definite groaning sound as the superstructure kind of... it's receiving such intense forces that you can hear the girders grind noisily. And everyone is basically first thrown forwards into their consoles and then thrown back as as an intense gravity wave slams against all three ships. As such, the arrival pattern of the ships is kind of disrupted a bit as the Navis basically stays still as it takes all of the stress and manages to do so without suffering any damage. However, it seems the the Venture, why did I say the Walcott? It's one of the other ships I must have passed through recently. The Venture, pardon me, and the Bellerophon, especially the Bellerophon, are not so lucky. and sensors are reporting that the Bellerophon especially has suffered multiple breaches in multiple systems, whereas the Venture has just had its structural integrity affected somewhat.
Can we attempt to extend our shields around the Bellerophon?
Well, at the moment...
at this moment in time, it's more to try and to breach, to kind of brace the other two ships against the gravity wave, so that we're taking the brunt of it for now.
Okie dokies.
It's not a sign of we're better than you. It's a sign of you guys seriously need help. We are not going to play around in this. This is a life or death situation.
In that case, I would like somebody to be Claude and somebody to be the ship. So who hasn't rolled yet? Jan, maybe we could use your role, your MVP-like roles for Claude. And Davis, have you rolled yet? I don't think you have.
I have.
You have?
Yes,
I don't think Alex does. Yeah.
Alex has not. Okay, cool. Alex, you can be the Navis. We are going to be trying to extend shields, so let's think. In fact, let's bring folks' tokens up so it's easier for reference. Let's see, Claude. This is probably going to be control and security for him, trying to extend the shields. As far as the Navis is,
be a Nova task as well for shields, because that's what the operation side is. Shields.
Oh, good point. Nova could definitely get involved with this. Can I get a security and structure roll from the Navis, please, Alex? And Nova with shields, yes, that would be a good idea as well.
Ooh, yeah, actually done that for once.
So, another control and security check from Nova, please, if you could, Sean.
Alright.
And finally, if you could give me control and security from Claude, 2 dice, please, Jan. Excellent. Okay, so 2 successes, which was more or less what was needed. So some of the Navis's own shield power, let's say that much, is diverted in order to kind of spread itself a bit more thinly, but in order to encapsulate the Bellerophon as well. So everyone takes a bit of a knock, thankfully, due to the superstructure and superstructural integrity of the Navis. Minor bumps and scrapes is all that anybody has attained as far as the crew are concerned. Give me just a second, I just have to check a weapon effect. What does that mean? Devastating. Ooh, that's a good point, actually. Piercing, I know what that means. Devastating means that it's dampening. I'm looking at the wrong one. It's effects. No, it's not. Okay. Effects. Qualities.
Is it bugging anyone else that he's looking at weapon effects? It's like,
this is basically
we're in a nice fluffy zone.
This is basically the gravity wave that just hit you.
Yeah.
What does that mean? I don't recognize that, and I get a feeling.
Devastating. Isn't that like it inflicts? If it inflicts an effect, it inflicts an additional effect.
I'm looking at regular weapons.
Like injury.
Yeah, you're right. I'm looking at regular weapons, not starship weapons.
Devastating hand fist and phaser.
Right, so, yeah, indeed. So for 1, 2, 3, 4 effect. This does mean that the Navis also, every one of the ships loses 4 points of power as a result of that hit. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it was dampening, piercing, devastating. So power Jan, you quite rightly noted the thing with devastating. Yep. And the other one was piercing, which we've already accounted for. So, yeah. So that took a great deal of power from the structural integrity field to make happen, and it's done the same for the other two ships. So, what happened? Sensors, according to Lieutenant Ori, basically registered a massive gravity wave, came seemingly out of nowhere, and the three ships were caught in its wake when it happened, and so are now at the... You're not at the edge of the system per se, you are closer in than the edge of the system, and gradually now making your way in. Getting some reports from the Bellerophon that they do have multiple breaches, one to their engineering section, one to their structural integrity, and one to their weapon systems. So the Bellerophon is dealing with the damage at the moment, as is the Venture. A quick communication from Commodore Corbett to all three ships tries to establish that everybody's okay and that everyone's alright to move on. So you are able to proceed a little bit further into the system. Warily now, as there are obviously gravimetric and who knows what else distortions going on that could make life very difficult for you in this area. As you work to recover from this initial burst of damage, you sense something otherworldly in your mind. This is, of course, stronger for Ori and Nova and the Betazoids, and the other Betazoids, mostly the 5 Bravos. In a moment of pure silence, you hear a voice. It's the alien from the Tilical ruins, Assessor Tredic. This is where I have to use the voice mod, excuse me.
You've come back. Please, I need help to protect them all. I cannot transport you down and save them at the same time. Please, help me.
I accept.
So, telling anyone else this, or is she just randomly sitting on the deck?
Everybody.
Going, I accept.
Everybody got this. It was obviously a lot stronger for the actual telepaths and empaths, but everybody got this. So there's another communication from the Commodore. This basically, what was that?
Can we give him the quick and dirty version?
Sure.
TLDR.
Yeah, TLDR. TLDR, big entity potentially responsible for looking after the safety of the entire Tilical race. It was the entity that sent us all the way back to the Narendra Station from here instantaneously. Advise caution. Kiss.
Advise
no
caution. I see. Advise caution, I see. So, we should help? Well, technically speaking...
What did we learn last time of when we managed to get as much information as possible? We didn't really get much opportunity to scan the actual consoles or anything, did we?
Not really. Mm-hmm. You did do some, more or less actually, because you had to help. Let me start that again to make a coherent sentence. Viper store transporter rooms, prep for large-scale teleports. Bring your off-ship cover to assist. Cool. Essentially, you helped this assessor creature repair what appeared to be some kind of malfunctioning communications array that was drawing power from you don't know where. You've got plenty of hypotheses. I think some or all of you, like Nova and whoever else assisted with Nova and Vipers and Ori probably, who were assisting with the power, trying to rejig the power systems, think that maybe Tilical technology draws power from another subspace realm, maybe. the technology certainly has got something to do with other subspace realms. But that's about all you managed to discern. If I recall, there was the brief flicker of a signal when you did.
Brief life sign appeared and then immediately disappeared.
Yeah, well, that's when it freaked out and sent us away, wasn't it?
Right. Yeah.
I believe it was just after we saw what appeared to be some sort of projection of a winged humanoid figure with blue eyes. I think they identified themselves as Ashtamalia of the Tilikal and said they were trapped and asking for help.
Yeah,
but it seemed to be a projection, not the actual any sort of life form in itself. So it was basically just a message from elsewhere. According to the notes, our best theory was that we were getting a projection or some sort of reading from another layer of subspace, and potentially the life signs we're detecting were leaking through the projection.
All right.
Hooray for notes!
Hooray for notes, indeed. Yes, very good. So, with that in mind, Corbett agrees with Andrew's assessment of proceed with caution. Corbett does basically state this is technically a sentient life form requesting our help, so as per Starfleet protocols, we really cannot ignore this. So, I suppose we go help them. Blackford, for once, it seems, doesn't have anything to say. So, just as you are finished discussing all of this, sensors blurt out another warning. As another massive gravimetric field slams into the flotilla once more. So with the same intensity as before. So here we go again. Actually less intense before. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This knocks 2 power from everybody. So
I don't think we're launching the Samson in this.
Coward points. With a
The Bellerophon's like a slightly bigger Samson.
Just get about to fly the Bellerophon.
Remotely, using the prefix code from our helm.
In this instance, the Navis does take the brunt of the shock meant for the Bellerophon, therefore sparing the Bellerophon another breach. This unfortunately causes a breach in your own structure, which means...
Oh no, not Mr. Minoko.
Well, we're gonna see,
Down
isn't
to
it?
one arm, sorry.
Down to one arm, one leg.
Once
Mr.
permission...
That's the injury.
So
I can ignore this, but I can't remember which.
It's one of yours. It halves damage to the thing, isn't it?
I can ignore breaches.
All right. I know you've got it, so let's count. Do you want to count that as ignoring it then?
Yeah.
Cool. So once again, the superstructure of the Navis groans audibly as it's taking the brunt of this, and as a result of Nova's Kragite Order of Heroism, once again there's a enormous groaning and the sound of vibrations going through the superstructure of the Navis, but thankfully she holds firm. The intensity of this particular gravimetric blast was sufficient to allow the Venture to not suffer any damage, and because you took the brunt for the Bellerophon, it didn't either this time.
Just as these things are hitting, from last time when this happened, it happened every time the things spoke to us. Nova linked herself with it. Can I try that again?
Sure, yeah.
Wasn't that a different entity to the caretaker?
That's a good point.
Yeah, but it's the same effect.
Same effect. So you want to see if it's the same thing, if some kind of mind is
If
reaching
it's
out
the
and
energy
causing
of
this.
this thing, like speaking, is causing the waves.
because you're drawing upon previous knowledge, yes, let's go insight and... Ooh. Let's go insight and science on this. For a Nova, and I'll make this difficulty 1.
Well, I was going to throw in determination Nevis.
We need the momentum. We have a fully functional Nova.
You really, really do. So yeah, full momentum pool. Well done. The sacrifice of your determination is noted for the greater good.
Good.
Thank you for only being the only one to take up that that quote there.
Greater good.
Okay, so Nova reaches out her. Nova reaches out her telepathic, empathic senses to try and see if it's the same thing that's happened before when powerful minds are reaching out from different subspace layers or dimensions and causing these gravimetric waves. And while sensors do tell you that there are gravimetric disturbances going on, the only mind that Nova can feel that's particularly powerful is that of Assessor Tredic way down on the planet. They have a very, very strong mind, and at the moment it is registering emotion of panic and anxiety. But nothing so mighty and alien that it seems to be causing these space quakes, for lack of a better term. Now, as this gravimetric wave slams into the flotilla, it scatters them all a little bit, so it knocks them all around, and the Navis has to hold on to the Bellerophon while the Venture itself kind of goes spinning a little bit out of control before it, so it gets a bit of distance before it regains control. The Bellerophon gives him a friendly and helpful boop. The Bellerophon's extra mass that you're trying to protect therefore causes both the Bellerophon and the Navis to go into a bit of an uncontrolled spin, which, considering you've now got a full pool of momentum, I don't even need to ask for a helm check, because we know this is well within Fazanan's ability to...
He could fail. As much as we think that, he's infallible, every now and then Jan may roll a 20.
Lies. I don't believe it. It's up to you if you really do want to roll this, but for the most part, it's just the gravimetric wave has scattered the ships a bit. Not so that you're catastrophically far from each other. You're still technically within the same kind of... We're within adjacent zones by this point. Nevertheless, the view screen becomes filled with a bright, prismatic spray of light, with halos of electric blue energy. Space itself then unfolds in a kaleidoscopic display that looks a bit like, if I can find it, this. A massive planet then emerges through the unfolding passage and starts drifting towards the Candidate 3 planet, drawn, no doubt, by its gravity. So...
is the trajectory sort of one that will lead to a collision?
Oh, yes. And, Caval with his knowledge of... what was that? Sorry, Davis, I talked over you there.
Wouldn't it be nice to have a queue about now?
Well, I'm afraid I'm not exactly working for you at the moment, so...
Right, how did they do DS9 when they made it so that they could shift DS9 with its own thrusters?
So, Yes, can I get a reason plus science from whoever's on sensors? So this could be either Ori or Nova or whoever wants to do it.
I suppose it's typically alright.
Yeah, it's typically alright, but Nova can assist now. So
Whoever wants to do it. The ship can also assist, so Gareth, if you want to be the ship as usual. Who hasn't rolled in a while? Jan, have you rolled in a while? Yes, you have. You rolled as Claude.
I did.
Sure.
G-Man's rolled for a while.
I don't think Gareth has rolled in a while, so... Gareth, do you want to take control of Ori, then?
Oh, instead of the ship?
Instead of the ship, you be Ori.
Okay.
Davis, you can be the ship. And if Nova wants to aid as well, it's going to be a control and science check. Actually, no, I said reason and science.
Yeah.
For the ship, though, it's going to be sensors and science.
Use anything like warp field dynamics, quantum physics for all this? This is very quantum. Or just computers for sensors, maybe.
Let's go with the obvious thing when it comes to warp field dynamics. Go on.
Okay.
Legion of Honor. Okay, yep, I didn't even notice that 20, but there we go. Whoops.
We knew it was going to be potentially coming out.
Okay, so it
it
looks
was
like
a little distracted booping.
Yes,
I got
definitely.
2 successes from all right.
2 successes from Ori, even rolled a 1. Well done. So,
Yep.
Ori using sensors recognizes that the planet that's coming through the rift is actually Orgoon 3. This is the planet that was gradually losing stability that the folks needed evacuation from.
Okay.
Well, if they're still on there, they're in trouble. Thankfully, let's see. When was decision point? Was 2 weeks, a month, 3 days, a month and a week, a month and a half, a month and 3 weeks, a good month and 3 weeks ish ago. So. Thankfully, they've had enough time to evacuate the people, but yeah, now you have a problem. Why or how the planet is here is a really good question. But
I think I figured out what's going on. Drakon from beyond the grave is really determined to try and frame us for something bad.
Sudden presence of this planet.
Framing us doesn't work.
So, Orgoon 3, the planet, is now starting to down towards the Candidate 3 planet. Because I can't call it Candidate 3-1, because that just sounds silly. But Candidate 3's planet is now going to more than likely get struck with Orgoon 3. Candidate 3's third planet. So it's actually Candidate 3. So if Assessor Tredick needed help before, he really needs help now. One on sensors, doing reason plus science with a difficulty of 1, assisted by sensors and this could actually be a good one for Zanan to do. Because you can use starship recognition. If you've still got it. Yes, starship recognition.
I do. So let's, do I do this?
I think the ship will be assisting, so it'll be himself using reason and science with a difficulty of 1, assisted by the ship's sensors and science. So, who hasn't been the ship in a while?
I've not rolled in a while. So
Go on then, Webby, you do it.
Well, we wanted from us, sorry.
From the ship, we want sensors and science.
Sensors and science. No. Termination 1 die.
Oh, not bad. One success.
Oh,
Very
sorry.
good.
It's not quiet.
I see you found my science weak spot.
Sadly so, but I have confidence. But there's a 90, but there's a 1. So 2 successes, and that more than what we needed. So well done. Looking at the sensors, Fazanan realizes that the last burst of gravimetric disturbance also slammed into a quartet of Romulans who are hiding at the far edge of the system. It seems
Bad
like...
luck, old chaps.
Well, yes, the disturbances that issued out had similar frequencies to the Warbird's cloaking devices, which somehow disabled them. So, as a result, let's show you the Romulans.
Can we just ping out on an open transmission? What did you do?
So,
Show us on the solar system where it
Yeah.
touched.
Yeah. We need to request from the Commodore that we just ping out what did you do?
right. So,
Attention,
Nova.
Romulans. Throwing planets at Federation ships constitutes an act of war.
Yeah, it's a war crime.
so
It's just turning into an episode of Red Dwarf
Oh!
now. We have to
go on, Davis.
Commodore, we might have a possible way of stopping them crashing into the candidate 3 planet. Especially now we've got 4 of the large artificial singularities in system. That might be enough power to create a subspace bubble, allowing us to push that planet out of range.
Commodore Corbett comes over the line at this point. Well, that's assuming, of course, that the Romulans want to cooperate with us, Commander.
I think we give them the option: either they help or we all die.
Well, the way I see it, there are 3 Starfleet ships and there are 3 immediate problems we need to sort out. The first problem being that this assessor creature asked for our help, and now what with the appearance of this other planet, whatever help they needed to happen on the Candidate 3 third planet now really needs to happen. But we also have the problem of incoming Romulan ships, and we also have the problem of the gravimetric distortions from the rift and the incoming planet towards the Candidate 3 third planet. So someone needs to stop the Romulans, someone needs to stop or slow the planet or slow the devastation of effects of Oregon 3 on the Candidate planet, and someone needs to get down onto the Candidate planet and evacuate whatever information or artifacts or relics we can and assist the assessor while we're there. So I suppose what I'm basically asking is, who volunteers for which task?
I'd actually let Blackford see which he would like to do first.
Blackford comes on a shared
See him
comm.
explode.
No, it's one of them of, I know which one I think Bellerophon is best suited for.
Well, do you want to hear from Blackford first, or do you want to share with the class what you think?
Well, my recommendation is that the Navis is the most combat heavy and is more likely to survive longer against 4 Romulan warbirds. I think that's going to be a very intense fight. The Galaxy class is more likely to be able to undertake the rescue operations because it's got the capacity. And the Bellerophon is the most scientifically designed, it is the most high-tech science vessel out of the 3, and would be best to try and work out what the hell's going on and what they can do to alleviate the situation.
But we are the one with the previous contact with that overseer.
we are.
Yeah,
Yes.
but the planet-wise, it's going to be an away team, so we just need to beam people down. You don't need a ship for it. Or not immediately, anyway.
Okay.
Because he said he could beam people down anyway, so he was confident it was an option. He just couldn't do both.
There is a tremendous amount of gravimetric disturbances going on, exacerbated by the appearance of the planet. So yes, technically you could transport people down. It would be tricky. But somebody can attempt to beam down and help the assessor, I suppose.
Could we...
Go on, sorry.
I was going to say, rather than us beam it down, could we potentially ease the stress for the assessor to use his beaming technology briefly?
Well, if you recall, what the assessor beamed into your brains was, I cannot transport you down and save them at the same time. So it seems even...
Could we potentially launch the runabout and shield that? It would mean that we wouldn't be able to shield the Bellerophon.
You'd be trying to do an awful lot of things at the same time.
Yes, yeah.
And bearing in mind... Sorry, go on.
The Bellerophon is the only one that can land on a planet.
Yes, that's true.
The Akira and the Galaxy can, but they're not very good at it.
They're certainly not built as well for it. So the issue you have, of course, is that you've got 4 Romulan warbirds, and previously the Romulans have tried to... Well, they've at least landed on this planet, and were in talks with the assessor. But, you know Romulans. They're probably here to stake their claim and take it by force if they need to. So, it seems like it might be possibly a similar problem to what you had last time with the Cardassians, which is trying to fend them off whilst they're also trying to maneuver landing craft past you. So, trying to do too many things at the same time is going to be difficult. But yes, Blackfoot speaks up and says, well, as has rightly been pointed out, the Bellerophon is probably better suited, and considering the sheer gravimetric disturbances we've got going on at the moment, shuttlecraft and the like might get torn to pieces. So a bigger ship like the Bellerophon could maybe land easier, and we could then dispatch people straight from the Bellerophon to assist this assessor creature, whatever it wants.
Right. Let's, Commander, assemble a way team to get to the planet's surface. Take the runabout and dock on board the Bellerophon, and then...
So
that's probably the best way, because then we have our experienced officers who've dealt with this before. And also then we've got the Bellerophon heading surface side.
So, we want...
That would be my recommendation, but again, it's Captain Corbett is ultimately the one that gets to say yay or nay.
Captain Corbett does indeed see the logic of this. Yeah, you quite rightly point out that you've had more experience with this creature and therefore it might respond to you, so it makes sense for someone of your group to go down to the surface along with the crew of the Bellerophon. So, I agree to this plan. In that case... it's probably best maybe if the Venture tries to slow down or at least disperse the gravimetric eddies that are being projected out from this rift and from the Orgoon planet. We won't be able to stop it, of course, but maybe with a Galaxy class being so big, we can maybe channel some of the energy out. Use some of our own power systems and our deflectors, maybe even siphon some energy out through the Bussard collectors, maybe, I don't know. We'll try anything and everything we've got to see if we can't buy the Bellerophon more time to, and the away team from yourselves to buy you more time to assist the assessor with whatever's going on. Alright, it seems we have a plan. Navis, you intercept and hold off the Romulans for as long as you can. The Venture will do our best to try and stymie or diffuse as much of the gravimetric energies coming from what's going on over here. In the meantime, Navis, land your away team on the planet, and as soon as you are able, we will have... Actually, let me think about this. Your away team's priority is the Assessor. Forget about collecting relics and information. Blackford, you get your team to start grabbing whatever you can that looks valuable from the candidate's planet. We need to save as much as we can to see if we can salvage any information about what's going on. And then the Bellerophon can also be used as an emergency evacuation craft if we need it. Alright. Good luck, captains. I don't have anything else other than that to say, I'm afraid. This is a unique situation. Except, best of luck to us all.
Just another day on the Navis.
Indeed you do. So, question part 1. So to do this, I'm going to take us back to the bridge for a moment because we've got more of our crew there. So who is going to go on this expedition to the Candidate 3 third planet? Bearing in mind you are going to...
certainly volunteer.
Nova will volunteer, cool. Anyone who does go, of course, is going to not be available for assisting the Navis in holding off the Romulans, so... choose carefully is what I'm saying.
Yeah. The question is Vibers, does Vibers want to be planet side or combat side?
Captain, it's been a while since you got to have an away mission.
At the same time, in a combat situation, unfortunately, as much as I would like to have got on the... I was actually thinking of like, signing up. Work, it'd be nice to go on an away mission.
However,
it is a diplomatic situation, though, Captain. It is your call.
You go,
plus,
Commander. You are more suited at technology, and I suggest that you take Lieutenant Ori as well as Nova as a minimum.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to think who's the best NPC for Nova Patrol.
Stevens.
Actually,
Alex, you were going to say something?
I think it's definitely better for more useful here on the planet than on the ship.
Edward wants to go down to the planet. Okay. What was that? Sean, I
do need
talked
an
over you there.
archaeology expert. Yeah.
I was just saying Stevens would be better to help Hello because of a little more power.
Good
We're
point.
already draining power.
Good point. Very good point. So, Edward's going on the away team is another good idea.
Security Bravo?
Security Bravo probably would be a good idea too. You've got another empath.
Then it means... Yeah,
Yep, go on.
Could we take Hello?
Take Hello?
Yes.
Interesting. So,
Actually,
Stevens
yes.
goes on to Ops instead. Yeah.
Yeah.
I am allowing... I am allowing AI intervention if required. Commander, the call is on you.
Alright.
You need to plug him in the first
we-
opportunity.
We need to take Hello with us because having something that is intimately technology down there gives us more options.
Yeah, I'm fully allowing Hello to go down. It's just I am not. You make the call of when you think it is getting too involved with technology. If it suddenly starts going exterminate all living or like matter, it's on you to kill it. That's what I'm saying.
Must kill all humans.
Makes a note to take the secondary drone.
Bravo! Pack a couple of large grenades.
Do you want to
We
take
may
Bravo,
need,
or do you want to take Natik? Because bearing in mind, any supporting characters you take are the ones that get upgraded.
Take them both.
Take them both.
I'd like
Is
to
the
take
Rom- is the
Natik
Romulan-
because
is the Rom-
Natik
Romulans,
has a
yeah.
very different setup. He's got very different biology. So if we're all incapacitated, he might not be.
Good point.
And it also means that we've got 2 security officers down on
And one of which is not an empath and won't be falling to bits and terribly destroyed by whatever goes on.
Okay. So far we've got Vibers, Bravo Chief of Security, Unit Hello, and Natik. Is that it?
I think so.
Or do we want to take someone from Medical?
Doc, do you want to go on an away trip?
Or do we want
I-
the Doc to stay here in case there are injuries?
Personally, I would like the Doc to be on board. Nurse Bravo, potentially.
How's that looking?
Go on then, we'll take the nurse. I think we've got a small enough crew we can actually fit on the shuttle.
Alright. So, if I go to the
I would
candidate
much rather you take the runabout. Although Doc, actually, yeah, you can't dock and runabout on an Intrepid, so yeah, it's got to be squeezed onto a shuttle.
Good point, well made. Alright, let's find the shuttle. Oops, wrong thing. Shuttlecraft. Teeny tiny shuttlecraft. Right, so let's move that out of the way. This also lends itself to a question as to if are you going to deploy the Samson, and if so, who goes on it? So let's go.
With Eddies, I don't want to.
Okay.
It may give us the edge in combat, but it's a massive risk. But then again, if Kamal's feeling adventurous, if he wants to take...
I'm always feeling adventurous, but
Not suicidal.
no, I was just thinking.
Have you hit your adventure limit for the event? There's too much adventure for you to have.
Never. I'm just wondering if I would be better on the Navis.
Yeah, I'm thinking we're going to do top combat strength on the Navis.
Alright, so these fellas are going down to the surface. Where am I looking here? So we are going to want the surface. And let's go with that first. Alright, so we've got those guys heading towards the shuttlecraft. We've got the Samson being
Andrews
kept
will-
back.
Andrews will actually send Blackford a personal message saying that she trusts Blackford and his crew to keep her officers safe. As a thing of, I know you're a dick, you know, I hate you, you hate me, but in this situation we have to be on the same side.
Yeah. Yes, indeed. So, let me just check that I've now got the correct crew on the map for what's going on in space. So, we've got Captain Andrews, who can create advantages. We've got Mono on sensors, so that he can scan for weaknesses. We've got Fazanan on Helm, so that he can do defensive and attack patterns. Whatever other maneuvers, like donuts he fancies doing. The Doc, that's the who I wanted, that's what I was missing. Oh no, and I've also got Chief Engineer Bravo, where's he? There he is. We've got Stevens on Ops, so that should be everybody. Alright, so... Blackford offers no reply, of course, to your message.
I'll send him another message afterwards, says dick.
But essentially,
That's the phrase for the encryption.
That's how it's encrypted. He has to put in DICK as his unlock code.
No, it's unlock coded the midshipman's watch
These
that he
guys
has
are
to look at
that
every
way.
time.
You guys are going to be moving ships are going to, well, 4 ships technically. Backing up the away team from the Navis while the Romulans, of course, have four ships and just you, so this will
What status are they at? Are their weapons online?
well. And weapons powered.
Okay.
Priming their launch bays. Encompass the Bellerophon. Those shield points back. The Venture kind of wanders. It's best to
They just wanders off in the middle of combat.
Depose itself now between Orgun 3 and the third planet of the Candidate 3 system. Meanwhile, the shuttle launched from the Navis and the Bellerophon are both making headway towards the planet, which means that the Navis is now going to be placing itself.
I thought we were landing the
Yeah,
Bellerophon on
the
Surf.
Bellerophon and the shuttle are both going to the third planet in order to land.
Yeah, I was. My original thing was the shuttle docks on board the Bellerophon, because it means that they're not going to hit the gravitational edges.
Oh,
but, yeah,
fine,
makes
fair
sense.
enough. No, that's cool. That's cool. So they can dock with them, so they are still in transit. So they're all in transit together is the point, going towards the planet. So it's now up to the Navis to interpose itself. So, ooh, let's do this.
The kind of like stuff for me.
Yeah, it stopped for me as well.
Oh, it's coming through choppy for me. It started
It's
again.
playing here.
That was weird.
Reload. Oh yeah, it booted me because I clicked the start button. There we go.
Maybe their server was having a bit of a hiccup. How am I going to do this without making this long and drawn out?
What
It
you've
really
got
isn't
playing
me.
is very reminiscent of the Terminator thing.
Yes, that's what we wanted. If you're lying,
Not really.
I'll be back.
I'll be right back. Oh god, Terminator. Blackfoot's actually the Terminator all this time.
Okay, so you
Okay.
guys, well, you guys go first. So remember, with Starship Combat, you've got various things that the various roles can do, the various departments can do. Of course, the commanding officer can impart orders. In fact, let's do the commit position tasks. Commanding officer can try and create an advantage, or once per combat, or at least there's the rally thing you can do to just generate momentum if you need to. You can direct to get another officer to attempt a single task outside of their own turn. This may only be used once per scene, so that's something you can hang on to just in case you want to get Thazanan to make an extra helm roll, or you want to get the ship to fire again. But otherwise you can create advantages or generate momentum or assist with other things. Mono is on sensors and therefore can do sensor reads in order to try and create an advantage by giving your weapons the Penetrate 2 ability to get through 2 points of resistance. Caval, of course, on Helm can do any Helm maneuvers like attack maneuvers or evasive maneuvers in order to either make it easier for weapons to hit or harder for the enemy to hit you. Engineering, of course, can then do things like try and repair shields. Likewise, Stevens on Ops can try and bring points back to power. And of course then there's Claut, who can fire the actual weapons in order to take advantage of whatever advantages you've made and deal damage to the enemy ship. So, what do you want to do first, basically? Usually it's good to set up the advantages first so that Claut has got the best possible roll he can make. And of course the Doctor can just hang on until there's actual damage done to the ship to see if there's people he needs to get back to working condition.
You ain't hurt.
Get back at my sick bay.
It's a scratch.
Basically, does the captain want to create an advantage or want to assist with somebody else's roll?
I think advantage.
Okay, so you need to... Go on, sorry.
So the one thing I was thinking of is doing both an evasive action and an attack pattern.
Ooh.
But that will cost 4 momentum to do it properly.
It will.
I'm fine with 4 momentum spent if anyone else is, or I can just burn the determination to...
So I was thinking if I do that first, and then somebody else can do something to build the momentum back up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Sounds like a plan to me. I will defer to my pilot.
Alright then.
I did say Caval have fun. The initial orbit.
Whee! So it will cost momentum, yes indeed.
So the first action will be an evasive action, and then there will be a 2-point momentum spent for an additional action. But because of flyby, it doesn't go up in difficulty, so then I'll do an attack pattern. But the flyby takes 2 momentum and the additional action takes 2 momentum, so it'll be a total of 4 momentum for the 2 actions.
So check that momentum out then. Okie dokie. So first is evasive, which means we need daring and con with a difficulty of 1 from our pilot. Seeing as you guys won't be taking all that much part in it, although then again we can just get Sean to roll for Stevens and Davis to roll for Bravo the engineer, so that's really no problem. So actually let's go with what we usually do. Gareth, since the doc doesn't have anything immediately to do, why don't you be the ship? Yep. Because we need structure and con from the Navis, please. And I will also ask you to take 1 point of power away from the ship when you do this.
Okay. Is this 1 dice rolled or both?
1 dice because the ship is assisting Thazanan's helm operation. Star Cross.
One of the Star Crosses.
Okay. I take 1 point of power and I got 1 success.
You did? You did.
Yep.
Excellent. So whatever Thazanan generates is extra.
Extra, read all about it.
3. So there we go. That's some of that momentum back already. So that
now
is
we're evasive.
Evasive. So let me put a quick note, as quick as I can. which isn't all that quick, I grant you, but evasive. There we are. And the next was an attack pattern, and you can do this at the same difficulty that it states, can't you? Because of your awesome flying skills.
Yes.
So this will be daring and con once again from our pilot, assisted by the ship's weapons and con. This is difficulty 2, and does require another point of power. So Gareth, back in as the ship, please.
Okay, 1 point of power, weapons and con. Fire. No successes this time.
Okay, this is difficulty 2, so it's all on Thazanan's roll.
Okay.
Would you like a hand, Fazna? Guarantee that we hit this. Or...
Yeah, well, let you get the attack pattern. I could use one of my determinations.
It's up to you. I can spend mine and see if I can re-roll it. You know.
There's that.
Alright, okay. Alright. I'll take the captain's assistance.
Excellent.
Let's use that one, see if we get it back.
And you do not.
Nope.
Okay. But we are still...
At the moment we can deal with not failing, so I'm quite happy to spend my determination to...
That's groovy.
Okay. So does that count as a determination for my roll? Then?
Yes, it does.
Yes.
Without you having to spend it yourself.
Alright.
There's a 19, but you got 4 successes, which was awesome. So that was 2 over and above what was needed, so the momentum pool is back, and you do indeed have an attack pattern.
So in the academy, I might in future teach this defensive attack pattern.
Defensive attack pattern Epsilon 6.
They call this doing a Thazanan. Actually, no, doing a Thazanan would be to exit space dock at warp speed, but, you know, what the hell.
That's
There's
the
some
maneuver we're not
things you
allowed.
don't teach in the academy.
Yeah, the cadets are not allowed to know about the actual Fazanan maneuver.
Something about following the rules of space dock.
Okay, so you've used some power to do that, so the engines do whine as they draw power from the core in order to perform this really complex maneuver, which makes the Navis harder to target, but also makes it easier for you to target the enemy, which is, when you think about it, really brain-bending. Which I suppose actually is more all about coordination and timing between the departments, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's also
I like that.
more actually just flying into positions where the firing arc of the other ship is limited. Right, you can keep the main sort of like phaser banks and the torpedo bays on the other ship. It's doable because obviously the Navis has an arch of phasers rather than just being straight point phasers. So.
I know. That's why she's so great. Right, so next we can probably do with creating some kind of advantage using the sensors. So, Alex, could you be Lieutenant Alex Monod, please, and give me a control and science check? Let's see if the ship actually assists this. Scan for weakness, yes. And Gareth, as usual, can you be the Navis and be sensors and security for the Navis?
Control and science.
Control and science, please. This is difficulty 1. Nothing from the Navis. But 2 successes from Mono, which means that your weapons now gain the piercing 2 quality. Which means they ignore 2 points of resistance from an enemy ship. Cool. Anything else anybody wants to set up? Or shall we go straight to the shoot bang fire?
Yeah, I was thinking more of I'm going to assist Claw on the fire.
Okay, cool. Now, the difficulty here is that you are... Let me draw this to make it a little more obvious. These guys are... Oop, I don't want that tool. Let me get rid of that. Where's the free hand?
A magic disturbance just appeared.
Yes, indeed. I chose the wrong option. Sorry. Let me try again. No, it's determined to do it.
Oh, that's a very big gravimetric disturbance.
So that's kind of their zone. So there's kind of like another zone by here, and you're in your own zone. Which also at the moment kind of encapsulates, whoops-a-daisy, the planet as well. So
if you join those up at the top, it looked like there's a huge claw coming out.
I was going to say, I've almost done Wolverine claws here, but I'm going to take those away now because those are freaking awful. Boy, just so you get the idea. So you are firing 2 zones away, which means that phaser arrays... That's better, thank you. I don't know why it was doing that with me. Phasers have medium range, which means they can target nearby zones without suffering difficulty, but because the Romulans are currently not in a nearby zone, it will suffer difficulty to attack with phasers, which means you can still do it, but if you want to attack at long range, that's what you can use quantum torpedoes for.
I was thinking that's in the sound gun, but yeah, quantum.
Sound gun is close range because you need to be within close scanning range.
Yeah. Use the old reliables then. Just send them a message saying you started this.
So for tactical, we are going to be firing the weapon. This is going to be a control and security check from whoever's firing. So, who hasn't rolled yet? I mean, who's going to roll as Claude, basically? Unfortunately, we don't have Mike here, so I couldn't ask him to do it, but...
It's got to be Webby.
Oh no, because I was going to be Andrews again.
Yeah, so... Sean, why don't you be Claude for the moment?
I'll know what the responsibility.
If you don't want the responsibility, then maybe we'll throw it to Davis.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So, how many of these do we go through before we use up the captain's bunk?
So, essentially, we want control and security from Claude. Claude does have a focus of starship weapon systems. And the ship, so Gareth, will also be assisting with weapons and security.
Claude's got determination, hasn't he? Yeah.
Yes, he does.
He has a good determination that I'd like to use.
Yeah, go on, use it, because I want to keep mine. I'll keep mine as a spare just in case. I am Claude.
Oh, very good.
Where's my determination didn't kick in?
So we'll count that as 2 extra successes, so that's 4.
Yeah.
4 successes, which means you did successfully target with a quantum torpedo. So, target. Where's quantum torpedo when you need it? Photons. Where's the quantums? There they are.
Torpedo is the second in the fin.
I wanted the sound effect.
I see.
So, for the actual ship, so, yeah. Roll quantum torpedoes damage. You did gain 1 extra momentum. You've already got maximum, so you can spend 1 extra momentum on an extra point of extra dice of damage if you wish.
Do it.
Is that an extra d6?
Yes, please. Nothing, so nothing was added, so nothing was lost. 8 successes against a Romulan bird of prey. Now, you've got piercing 2, which means we ignore 2 of that, which means we've done 4.
Does Vicious 1 help as well?
Vicious does help because we've got an extra 4 there, which means
We've
that...
also got the attack pattern as well, haven't
8.
we? The
attack pattern made things easier to hit, so...
Yeah. So how many did we need?
Another extra dice then, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so complicated.
Oh,
no, nothing of that. Okay. But the good news is, let's see. They got resistance 4 due to piercing, whereas they had the resistance 6 before. So 8 successes, minus 4 is 4, but plus the 4 effects puts us right back up to 8. Which means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, I do believe Claude has got a very special talent, something called Shield Breaker.
Yes.
Have a read of that. Where is it? When you make an attack with a starship's energy weapons... Nope, you use torpedoes. Never mind. You may spend an extra momentum to target shields. We didn't do that, never mind. But... firing quantum torpedoes, you do score a very big hit against one of the Warbird's shields and knock a massive chunk out of it. So, the next thing that really needs to happen for the Navis crew... Whoops, a daisy, let me not move that. You went to the trouble of drawing it. I can't get at this now. Can I organise them? No, I can't. I'll have to deal with that later. Okay, so all that's left for the Navis crew now is pretty much to get power back, because you have lost a lot. So, first person to probably look at power would be Stevens, because she has got a little more power as a talent. So, when you succeed at an engineering task, you may spend 1 momentum to gain 1 spent power. In order to get power, we need Stevens and the ship to regenerate power. Actually, no, it's just Stevens. Stevens on her own. To do either daring or controller engineering with a difficulty of 2.
Control engineering. She's not Nova.
Not yet.
Give her time.
I think she'll use a determination as well to try and get power back up as quickly as possible.
Okay. I mean, you might want to hang on to that, because it's if you spend momentum, you can gain extra power. So
yeah,
it's momentum
true,
you really want.
At the same time, it's 2 additional successes, so we don't spend the momentum. We've got the momentum in the pool for other dice.
Okay, that's entirely up to you.
Oh, is it everyone else's decision as well?
I think save it in case we need it, because there's like 4 of these things out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Makes a good point.
Control engineering, electroplasma systems as a foci?
Yep, or power in general, since you are doing power management as a task. So yes, anything to do with power systems.
Dynamics and propulsion systems, so...
Let's see what we get. Those were bad rolls. Okay. So, yeah, there's that determination if you want to spend it to re-roll both, or hang on to it for later, like Sean said.
I think we spend it.
And
I can spend mine. No, actually, no.
You've only got 1 left.
Yeah, we'll spend hers, because mine can be used on everyone, so...
Okay, let's try that again. Better! 2 successes, which was what you needed to succeed. You can succeed at cost with this, I've just realised. But you've just succeeded now, so you gain 1 point of power, plus 1 more for any momentum spent. But if I recall, what was the thing with Stevens? Does she have the ability to coax more power out? You may spend 1 momentum to regain 1 spent power, so yeah. Whenever you succeed at an engineering task, you can spend momentum to regain a spent power. Maybe I should have given her a better one than that. Either way, 1 power regained. Which means...
want to spend
well,
momentum?
I was about to say... Bravo Chief Engineer hasn't gone yet, and he can do the same thing. It's going to be difficulty 3 instead of difficulty 2, but he can do the same thing. And Bravo has got 2 determination.
I'd still like to... I would personally like to spend determination, because we're low. We're at half power already, and it's only round 1.
Yeah, go for it.
So, Navis, he's your man, is Bravo, so why don't you see if he can succeed.
Okay.
Spending 2 momentum from Stevens then to give it 2 additional power back.
Okay, 2 additional power.
Okay, so what am I rolling?
Rolling. I just had it, I've lost it, so I'm going to do it again. Daring or control and engineering, difficulty 3. Difficulty 3.
Okay, with determination and damage control and repair as a focus?
This is more electroplasma systems because we're trying to gain power back
I've
to
got
the,
that
to
as
the
well.
ship. Yeah, so.
Right. Let's
You trained
roll
him
that
well.
with some determination. That'll
3
do it.
successes, which means you got on the money what you needed, so the ship regains 1 more point of power. So you're looking better than you were. So that's
do
all
it.
groovy. Okay. Meanwhile, so while all this is going on, we'll get to the Romulans and their bit later, but for the moment we will finish with the Bellerophon starts to make planetfall. Now, the gravitational forces being enacted in the system are making the descent more bumpy than it would otherwise be, but nevertheless, the Bellerophon is able to issue blue alert to signify that it is making a landing maneuver. And Vibers and his away team do manage to get down to the surface. And when you get to the surface, the scene is not pretty. So the Candidate 3 surface that you were familiar with before, if I can just take us there quickly. If it loads. Come on, Fanfare.
Own any token with vision on this scene.
Yep, so let me load tokens in.
Ah.
So as the away team departs the hold of the Bellerophon as quickly as they can, leaving the Bellerophon crew to start moving about the ruins to find and preserve what they can, the away team first notices that the winds have become a lot more harsh and are kicking up debris that is... I take it, are you guys wearing EVA suits, or are you going in as is?
As is.
As is. So you're getting stinging bites from dust and debris being kicked up. But the thing that strikes you most of all is the fact that from the upper atmosphere there are numerous streaks of planetary debris that are raining down as like meteorites, as the Ogun planet itself is slowly coming apart, and this planet itself is also suffering from earthquakes and other tectonic activity. In the near distance, you can see the same path towards the hyperstyle hall that you saw before, but as you watch, one of the asteroids comes plummeting past and slams straight into it, toppling one of the towers. You have very limited time, it seems, to make your way across this distance to get to the hyperstyle hall whilst under essentially planetary bombardment. And who knows what you'll find when you get there. But this, of course, now all depends on whether or not the Venture can keep Organ 3's gravitational disturbances from making the situation for you guys on the planet worse, and of course whether or not the Navis can hold the Romulans off long enough that the Romulans won't land boarding parties of their own to give you even more to deal with. But when Unit Hello wanders or just kind of impels out, the display of Unit Hello starts to flicker and twitch, and he... Ooh, which one is he again? Unit Hello is this one. I say he. I'm anthropomorphizing a computer.
Unit Nova. This unit recognizes place, but it does not know why. We must help the assessor.
I think that's what we're here for.
That's where we'll leave it for this week. Okay.
Dun, 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 dun,
Plenty of action to get through, and of course whatever is found on the planet below. How will the Venture, venture with its attempt at holding off an entire planet? We know the Navis can deal damage and take damage well, but against 4 Romulan warbirds, this will be quite the test. And of course, the Bellerophon are going to be pretty much passive for the most part, as their job is mostly just collecting ruins and data, so it's going to be on the Navis away team to see if they can help the Assessor, all of which we will have to wait until next week to see if they can accomplish it. So until that time, I am going to say thank you very much to everybody who tuned into the stream. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as we appeared to enjoy taking part in it. It has been good to get back into this again. To start off the new year, and incidentally, this is nearly our 2-year anniversary of doing this from the very start. So yeah, it's nearly been 2 years, guys. Can you believe it? Wow. In any case, for those who are watching this on YouTube, if you've enjoyed this video, please do consider giving it a like, because it helps our Lord and Master, the algorithm. All hail the algorithm.
All hail.
Helps us give a nod not only to ourselves, but also to other folks doing actual plays of RPGs, and of course gives nods to Star Trek too, so both of which are beneficial. In the meantime, I will ask everybody who's been watching this to do like the Vulcans do, and I don't mean support Captain Blackford, because that guy sucks. But he does really suck. He is an absolute, douche. But hey, I should know. I invented him. Nevertheless, I do ask you all to live long and prosper, and to engage in infinite diversity and infinite combinations. We hope you all look after yourselves. Those of us who are going through a particularly cold winter at the moment here in the UK, definitely look after yourselves, because COVID is on the rise again. And having been laid low with it recently, I can confirm that that sucks. So do look after yourselves, folks. It is crazy, crazy gates out there. In the meantime, I wish you all the very best of gaming. Look after yourselves, and we will see you same time as usual next week. Toodaloo's.